A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Kroger Tender Ray Beef. No other beef so fresh can be so tender. Presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed. K is for Kroger, C is for cut, B is for beef. KCB means Kroger cut beef, and Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. Yes, friends, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. And here's why. Before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. Remember, that's before the meat is weighed and priced. And it's the very top U.S. government grades of beef that's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. So you see, you get a better value in top-grade beef. Now, to give you an example, let's take a Kroger cut rib roast. Before the roast is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes the short rib end, the waist, and trims the chine bone. You don't pay roast price for the short rib end and waist. And no matter whether you buy a Kroger cut steak or roast, you receive more meat, less waste. So don't forget that's at your Kroger store. See for yourself by visiting your neighborhood Kroger store soon. Make it a rule to buy Kroger cut beef and get more meat for your money. And now, Hearts in Harmony. It's exactly 9 o'clock in Rossville, and in two different homes in separate parts of town, people are waiting. Lawyer Frank Carter is waiting for a visit from arch-criminal Robert Wilson. And in the Gibbs home, Penny and her invalid foster father are waiting for word from Carter. Penny says,
Jed, it's 9 o'clock.
Yes, Penny, I know. It was a long time in coming, wasn't it?
Yeah, the next few hours will be even longer. Oh, I wonder if Mr. Wilson's on time. If it is, it'll be nearly midnight before we hear from Frank.
You want to play checkers or something?
No, darling, thanks.
Time will go faster if we do something to take our minds off young Carter.
I'm afraid I can't think of anything else right now.
I don't think I can either. You know now how it must feel when a man is waiting for his doom. The minutes tick by with the sound of heavy hammering.
Yeah, and the clock doesn't even seem to move.
But moves, though, and time runs out. It'll be midnight soon, and we'll know.
I wonder what we'll know.
I hope we hear that Carter's trick worked and that Wilson is on his way to jail. You expect we'll hear anything else?
Oh, darling, I don't know. I'm a little bit frightened.
Frightened? What?
Oh, that the plan will fail. Oh, worse.
What could be worse?
Violence, Jed. If Mr. Wilson becomes suspicious, there's no telling what he'll do.
He could pick up his hat and run for the nearest exit.
Yeah, but he'll want to strike back at Frank first, won't he?
Not if he's smart. Doing violence to Carter won't help him one bit. It'll only make matters worse.
Well, I don't think he'll care about that if he sees he's being tricked.
Well, for Carter's sake, I hope he does. Police will be there, won't they?
Yeah, in the back of the house and all around it. They'll be ready to come in when Frank gives the signal.
What is the signal?
I think he's going to the door as Mr. Wilson gets ready to leave and say, all right, Mr. Wilson, I'll give you 40% of my funds over and above my expenses.
If Carter can say that, that'll mean Wilson's come right out and tried to make a deal.
Yeah.
But will it prove he's crooked?
Golly, I don't know how Frank intends to work it, but apparently he expects to make Mr. Wilson admit that he's not running a legitimate enterprise.
I'll see how he'll do that unless Wilson's a fool. And Wilson's no fool.
Well, neither is Frank.
I should say he isn't. He's a brilliant young fellow. I think you're lucky to be working for him, child.
No, so do I.
I never met the fellow. What's he like?
Oh, he's tall, kind of good-looking. Dark wavy hair. Kind of young.
About how old? 30, 35?
No, I guess he was under 30, maybe 27, 28. Oh, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell age.
Sure is. He sounds like a pleasant young fella from what you've told me about him.
Yeah, he sure is. He makes working fun. Yep, I think I'm going to like it in his office. It's interesting. Sometimes it's even exciting.
Yeah, and sometimes a little hard on the nerves, though, huh?
Yeah, right now. Oh, golly. I was kind of hoping we'd get off the subject. Might make the time go faster. Yep, it's only 9:04 now. It seems as though it's been hours since the clock struck 9.
Well, the time will go in time.
Oh.
Brilliant statement, wasn't it?
I know what you meant. Jed.
Mm-hmm.
Jed, why do you think I haven't heard from Barry in such a long time?
How long has it been?
Oh, almost 3 weeks.
Not a line from him, eh?
Oh. In fact, I've only had one long letter and one short letter from him since he's been away. You don't think there's anything wrong, do you?
I don't know, child. If you mean, has he stopped loving you, I'd say, no, don't think he has.
What makes you so sure?
What I know about human nature, child. Barry's love for you appeared to me to be the constant kind. He leaned on you, you know. You made him the person he is, and you're part of him. He isn't likely to forget that because he was proud of what he'd become because of you. And a man is pretty jealous of his pride.
Oh, it sounds as though Barry fell in love with me out of gratitude.
Doesn't sound that way at all. Barry had his choice of the field. Could marry any woman in America, that lad. And there's not a woman in the country who wouldn't be proud to have him for a husband. But out of them all, he chose you. And believe me, it was his own choosing, too. No one even told him to look at you.
He scarcely did at first, if you remember.
Sure I do. But I knew that long before. He'd not only been looking at you, but gaping at you.
Jed Billings, he never gaped.
No?
No.
You didn't notice because you were looking at him a little moon-eyed yourself.
But I was not.
Yeah. Wish I'd taken a picture to prove it to you.
Stop it. You're embarrassing me.
Well, nothing to be embarrassed about. People in love have a right to look at each other any way they like. Wide-eyed, squint-eyed, or with their eyes closed if they like. Think lovers can't see each other with their eyes closed?
No, I know they can. Yup, I can close my eyes and see Barry right now.
Sure can, and he can do the same. Imagine he does, too. More times than you ever dream of.
I'd like to believe that.
Well, believe it. It's true.
Yeah, I will believe it, whether or not it's true. Because I want to believe it. You know, I don't want Barry to suffer with the longing that I have, but I do find the security for the future in dreaming his love for me is just about as everlasting as mine is for him.
You don't have to dream that, child. It's an actual fact. Something you can believe in wide awake.
Darling, I don't know why it is, but every time I talk to you, I feel better.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm glad to hear you say the things you do.
I'm glad I can say them, child. Because I don't say what I don't feel to be true. I'm not talking just to make you feel better. I'm talking to make you see the facts as they are, to help you get the most out of them.
If, you thought it was foolish to wait for Barry for years and years, you'd say so,
No, I would, child. Though it's none of my business what you do with your life. Just the same, I'd offer my advice. You think you'll have to wait for years?
Maybe.
5 years? 10? 15?
Maybe more.
Sounds to me as if you're leading up to saying forever.
Well, I have no assurance it won't be forever. That means waiting all my life.
Going to the grave with a lost love in your heart. If I thought that's what was ahead of you, you know what I'd say?
Yeah, I know. Not to wait.
Not to wait. Barry wouldn't want you to. You can't throw your life away on something you can't have, Penny. That's like a person who wants to amount to something sitting at home day after day waiting for opportunity to knock at the door. Well, contrary to the popular belief, opportunity does not knock at any door. You have to go out and find it.
Jed, I want to wait for him. I want to wait for him even if it's forever.
I told you could do whatever you wanted with your life. Waste it waiting if you want.
It won't be wasted. I'll make something out of my life in other ways. Golly, look at the time.
Yes. Getting late, isn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Wilson should be at Frank's by now.
Yeah, I should imagine so.
Wonder what they're saying. I wonder if Mr. Wilson has any idea of why he's there. And if he does, what'll happen if he does have it?
Yes?
Good evening. Is Mr. John Lester Adams in?
I'm Adams.
Hello. I'm Roberts, Wilson Roberts.
How are you?
I made an appointment with you for 9 o'clock.
Oh, come in. It's late. I was afraid you weren't going to show up.
I was delayed. I hope my tardiness hasn't inconvenienced you in any way.
Not at all. May I have your hat?
Thank you. Nice place you have here, Mr. Adams.
Oh, it's not quite what I wanted, but it's the best I could do for the present.
You seem to do well in all your undertakings.
Do I? What makes you say that?
You and I are in the same business, Mr. Adams. I know of your reputation. In fact, that's what I've come to talk to you about.
Oh, I see. I want you to sit down. Here, this chair at the desk will be comfortable, I think.
Thank you.
A cigarette?
Yes, I will, if you don't mind.
Wait,
I have a lighter, thanks.
Oh. I don't think I know you, Mr. Roberts, but I feel I should, am I right?
I feel I should know you, Mr. Adams. You've succeeded in great measure where I've failed miserably.
I'm afraid I don't understand, Mr. Roberts.
Then I'll explain. I'm a representative of a charitable organization trying to raise funds to build an orphan's home.
Mm-hmm.
You're the head of a similar organization, I understand.
Yes, I am. How did you know?
I've heard your name and the name of your organization several hundred times in the last 4 days, Mr. Adams. Everyone I went to for money had already pledged all they could afford to you.
Well, there is a limit to what people can give, Mr. Roberts.
Yes, but there is a great need for funds of all kinds, Mr. Adams. I can't let my organization down. This home is badly needed, as you probably know.
I know there's never been enough money to help the needy, but I also know that it's not fair to ask people to give more than they can afford.
I agree. But what would happen, Mr. Adams, if your organization was pledged to do more than that for which you originally solicited funds?
Oh, what do you mean?
What would happen if you pledged part of your funds to my cause? Oh, charity is charity, Mr. Adams. You know my cause is as worthy as yours.
I'm familiar with your cause only to the extent that you've described it, Mr. Roberts. Could you tell me more?
About the home or about myself?
Both.
I did a very foolish thing, Mr. Adams. I left my credentials in my quarters.
Well, identification isn't necessary. Not at the moment, at least. Suppose you tell me more about this home and how you think it would be advisable for me to offer you money out of my organization.
Penny! Telephone!
Yes, Jed, I hear it. I was asleep. Golly, I hope it's Frank.
Now, don't be too disappointed if it isn't, Charlie.
No, darling, I won't. Hello?
Hello, Penny.
Oh, hello, Frank.
Oh, you recognize my voice.
Yeah.
Good.
What happened? Did it work?
No, it didn't. He was too tricky or being too careful. I don't know which.
That's awful.
I think he suspected something. He didn't have his credentials with him or anything that could be used against him.
Yeah, well, if he does suspect, we're out of luck, aren't we?
No, not entirely, at least not yet. He says he's going to come back tomorrow. And if he does, I think I know how I can make him talk.
Another plan, hmm? Oh, golly, Frank, it just has to work this time. It just has to.
What is Frank Carter's second plan, and will it work? Is Robert Wilson suspicious of Carter, and will this lead to trouble and possible danger for Carter and Penny Gibbs? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. KCB. KCB. KCB means Kroger Cut Beef, and Kroger Cut Beef means more meat for your money. Yes, Kroger Cut Beef gives you more meat, less waste. That's because before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. You get more meat, less waste in Kroger Cut Beef. It's top U.S. government grades of beef, tender, juicy, rich red, marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. So visit your neighborhood Kroger store and buy your favorite cut of beef. If you can get a Kroger cut sirloin steak, you'll notice that before the steak is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes the stringy end, the waste, and the excess bone. Remember, whether you buy a steak or a roast, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat for your money. But remember, ladies, you can buy a Kroger cut steak or roast only at Kroger stores. Make up your mind right now to visit your neighborhood Kroger store without delay. Your Kroger meat man has just the cut of beef you want. It's delicious and juicy. It's top-grade beef that will thrill your family. Make it a rule to buy Kroger cut beef and get more meat, less waste, which means you get more meat for your money at your Kroger store. Listen again tomorrow, same time, same station, for another exciting transcribed chapter of Hearts in Harmony.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet, is brought to you by Chesterfield, made by Liggett & Myers. First major tobacco company to give you a complete line of quality cigarettes.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. A gang of truck hijackers has been working in your city. They've stolen 14 loaded trucks. They've kidnapped and beaten one of the drivers. There's no clue to their identity. Your job? Get them. With the winter season coming on, young America and all of us will be concentrating on our favorite winter sports: ice skating, bowling, basketball, skiing. One thing you'll notice, whatever young America does, wherever it goes, Chesterfield goes along. Yes, Chesterfield is the choice of young America. Chesterfield is the choice of more thousands of smokers everywhere. People are learning the facts about Chesterfield, learning that Chesterfield is highest in quality, low in nicotine, learning that Chesterfield is really mild, really satisfying. How about it, friends? Change to Chesterfield yourself. Smoke America's most popular two-way cigarette. Regular and king-size Chesterfield. Best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, June 4th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out a robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on the way out from the office, and it was 9:47 a.m. when we got to the county hospital. Ward 419.
Hi.
Mr. Gilmore?
Yeah. I know you guys?
No, sir. We're police officers. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
I do, sir. Hello. A couple of stools over there. Drag them up. Sit down.
I'll get 'em.
Here you go.
Thanks. How do you feel, Mr. Gilmore?
Rough. Real rough. Feel like I've ridden 50 miles in the back of a ready-mixed cement truck. Weren't for the pills they'd be giving me, I think I'd go off my rocker.
Mm-hmm. You want to tell us what happened?
Yeah, as much as I can remember. Only goes so far, then there's a room full of black.
If you'll tell us what you can, please.
Yeah. Yesterday, that's when it was.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday morning. I checked in for work. Had a load I was going to take over to Phoenix. Supposed to shove off about 10:15.
Did you know what you were carrying?
Yeah. I saw the way bill. Some of the stuff they were loading it. Used furniture. Didn't make any difference to me. They load the truck and I'll drive it.
Uh-huh.
I went across the street. Little coffee place over there. Got my vacuum bottle filled and came back. By that time, they had the truck loaded. I signed the way bill in the office and went out and got into the truck. The two guys were waiting for me.
They were in the cab of the truck, then?
Yeah. Sitting there, kind of scrunched down so you couldn't even see them from the outside.
Yes, sir.
As soon as I opened the door, one of them had a gun pointed at me. Told me to get into the truck like there was nothing wrong. Just start the motor and get the truck away from me.
Did they get out of the truck at that time?
No, they were waiting for me when I got there. They told me to drive away, and I did. Wasn't going to mess around with them having a gun.
Yeah, go ahead.
And we drove about 3 blocks, and he told me to pull into an alley just off of Santa Fe.
Santa Fe and what, do you remember?
By Porter Street, between Porter and Enterprise.
I see. Like to go ahead?
Then they told me to pull into the alley, and when I did, they made me get out of the truck. Took me around back and broke the seal and told me to get inside.
And that's what you did?
Officer, if they'd have told me to jump off the city hall, I'd have gone ahead and done it with that gun pointed at me. I'm a coward. Fellow waves a gun around, and I'm going to do just like he tells me.
Yes, sir.
Those guys are mean, you could tell.
How's that?
Oh, I'm a kind of a student of phrenology. I could tell about those fellas real plain.
Student of what?
Phrenology. You know, bumps on the head.
Oh.
They all mean something. Of course, I didn't get a chance to make a good examination of these guys, but I could see it. Real criminal heads. Bumps told me so. One fellow had a head that was one of the worst I've ever seen.
Yes, sir.
He was mean to his mother, I could tell. Had a bump right here. Here, you see?
Huh? Yeah.
He was mean to his mother.
Yes, sir. Well, what happened after they tied you up?
Just left me there.
I see. You want to go on?
Yeah. They must have drove for about 20 minutes when they stopped. pulled in some sort of a driveway.
I figure that.
Well, right after they stopped, they made a half U-turn, then backed up this ramp, steep. Then they stopped and took me out of the truck, blindfolded me, and made me get out of the truck.
Now, this place where they stopped, that's where they unloaded the furniture, did they?
Yeah. They must have taken it out of there. I heard them thumping around the truck. Sounded like they were unloading it.
Well, now, what'd they do after they got all the furniture out?
Put me back in, drove out to where you found the truck. After they both climbed into the back, beat me up. Don't remember much after that.
Mm-hmm. Both of them worked you over, huh?
Yeah. Both of them got in their licks. Especially the one who was mean to his mother. He was vicious. He was mean. They kept hitting me with their fists until I just passed out. Don't remember anything after that till I came to in the back of the truck. That's when I called the cops and the guys in uniform came out. I guess they're the ones who called you.
Yes, sir. Now, is there any way that you might be able to tell us where they took you?
You mean when they unloaded the furniture?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think maybe I got an idea. I tried to figure out how fast they was driving. And after you've been a driver for a while, you get to know. I'd say they were going about 20 miles an hour. We were still in town. My own guess is that they went out Alameda. Must have gone out Santa Fe and then turned on to Alameda.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing kids yelling. That'd probably be Santa Fe High School.
Yeah.
I guess we went out Alameda to maybe 43rd or 44th and they turned right. Kind of hard to figure it then. The truck got tied up in traffic. It was hard to tell if they were stopping for that or they were just at a light.
Uh-huh.
But I'd say that they went out to about Avalon. Maybe they went up to San Pedro. I don't think so. I'd say Avalon. Then they turned left and headed for Hawthorne. I'm not sure how far they went, but I'd figure maybe around Rosecrans, and then they turned a couple more times, and they stopped and drove up that steep ramp.
Mm-hmm. Now, you figure they ended up around Rosecrans and Avalon.
Yeah. Guess that's not much help, though, huh?
Well, it gives us an idea where to start looking.
Well, a couple other things that might help you.
What's that?
Well, it seems that when we started to back up the ramp, I heard a bump, like they backed into a car. They didn't hit it hard, but I bet they did hit a car.
Yeah.
After that, they pulled the truck forward and stopped and backed up again. This time, they scraped into the side of a house. I could feel it run along the side of the truck. It sounded like they might have torn up some of the wood on the house.
Yeah.
Will that help any?
Yes, sir. We'll have our crime lab check the truck and see if they can come up with anything.
Sure hope you can. Oh, you talked to my boss yet?
No, sir, but he's been notified, we understand.
I bet he's plenty sore about it.
Well, we wouldn't know about that, but he should understand that it wasn't your fault.
He should, but he won't. I know.
That right?
Yeah. He doesn't understand anything that doesn't go on his way. Spotted a mile off.
What's that, sir?
His head. All kinds of bumps.
10:06 a.m. We continued to question the victim, Russell Gilmore. He gave us descriptions of the two men who'd kidnapped him. He also told us that at one time he heard one of the men call the other by the name Leo. Further, he told us that when the two bandits had taken him from the truck, they'd placed him in a garage. He was able to feel the wall, and he said that he was sure it was a plaster wall, inasmuch as he could feel the studs and the wire holding the plaster. He said that at one time he heard a woman come out of a house and say something to the thieves while they unloaded the truck. He told us that the garage wasn't very large because there was no echo on the sounds that were made in the building. We called the office and got out a supplementary broadcast on the thieves carrying their descriptions. 10:40 a.m. Frank and I left the county hospital and drove over to Central Station. We went up to the crime lab and talked to Ray Pinker.
On the right rear fender, we found evidence that the truck had hit a car. Lifted some paint chips. Got them here.
Uh-huh. Looks like a blue car, huh?
Yeah. We checked the paint with a Ditzer Production color book. Here, I'll show you. We got all the paints cataloged by color.
Uh-huh.
Here. This is the one.
Yeah, but Ray, there are a lot of blues there. How can you be sure this is it?
Well, here. You see they got a color patch on each page in the book? A hole in the patch?
Oh, this little hole here, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, we just put this chip we lifted from the truck in the hole. I'll lay it down. Get this lamp. There. Color matches. Get them the same light, and you can see they're the same paint.
Huh. Look at that, Joe. Same.
Yeah, I see. Well, what do we got out of it, Ray?
The car the truck hit was a 1953 Hudson Jet. It was a single-tone car. You know, the top color matches the body color.
Yeah.
You can only use this on one-color cars unless you got a special order.
Uh-huh. Did you find any house paint on the side of the truck, Ray?
Yeah. Over here. Might be able to do a little better on that for you.
Uh-huh.
House the truck ran into is about 36 years old. Might be a little more than that, but it's right around there.
How did you come up with that?
Been painted 18 times. Figure once every 2 years, you come out with 36.
Yeah. So how do we know it's been painted every 2 years?
We don't, Frank. Just guessing. But the layers of paint are pretty even. Might indicate they did it regularly. You know, didn't let the paint go too far before they redid it.
Oh, yeah.
Here are the chips of the house paint. Here, I put one of them under the microscope. Here, take a look, Joe.
Okay.
You see okay?
I haven't got a... Wait a minute. I'll adjust it. Yeah. I see what you mean.
Now, you notice the first coat was a cream white.
Mm-hmm.
And they stuck pretty much to that for the next half dozen paint jobs. Then they changed to a barn red. Then to a green, then back to cream white. That goes on for 3 layers, and then to the blue that's on it now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Ray, if we find the house, can you tell us if it's the same one?
It shouldn't be too hard. Aren't many of them around.
Well, how many?
Well, 18 coats would be 18 factorial. That's multiplying 18 times 17 times 16 times 15, so on to times 1. I got it worked out for you.
I hope you have. I'm
Here.
not with you at all. Here.
Well, look. Works out to 1 in 6 quadrillion, 402 trillion, 373 billion, 705 million, 728,000 chances of finding its twin.
Oh. That's pretty long odds.
Well, if every man, woman, and child on the face of the earth owned 10 houses apiece, there wouldn't be another one like it.
11:37 a.m. We put in a call to Leighton Prince. Harlan Stahl told us that his crew had gone over the truck thoroughly, but had failed to come up with anything. We contacted the stats office and asked them to make a run on the M.O. that the thieves had used. They told us that the results would be ready for us late in the afternoon. We contacted hit and run detail, but there'd been no reports that could have been the car that the truck had hit. We went to the office and got a large map of the city. Then we drove out to the county hospital to talk to the victim again. We asked him to trace his movements while he'd been held prisoner in the back of the truck. He drew a line down Santa Fe Avenue, up to Alameda, then over to Avalon Boulevard on 43rd Street. From there, he traced the streets down to Rosecrans Avenue. He drew a circle on the map centered on the intersection of Rosecrans Avenue and Avalon Boulevard. He told us that we'd find the house we were looking for inside the circle. Before we left him, we made arrangements for the mugshots to be taken to the hospital for him to check for a possible identification of the suspects. 12:40 p.m. We contacted Records and Identification Division and asked them if they'd had any luck on running the name Leo. We were told that they had 3 possibles for us. The addresses on the packages were not in the area that had been circled by the victim, Russell Gilmore. We got in touch with Lieutenant Jack Smyers and filled him in on the developments. He called Metro Division and made arrangements for 3 additional teams of men to work with us in a search of the streets within the circle drawn by the victim. He also contacted the divisional commanders and asked for their cooperation. The men were instructed to find a residence with a steep driveway leading to a detached garage. The house would have a wooden porch on the right side of the house as it faced the street. It would be damaged to the wood on the porch. Also, there was a possibility that a Hudson automobile would be parked either in the driveway or on the street right next to it. The car would have some damage done to it. 5:15 p.m. Frank and I got back to the office from the search area.
Man, I'm sure tired.
Oh, I'm with you. A lot of streets out there.
Yeah, a lot of houses on the streets. Wonder how the guys from Metro are doing.
I don't know. I'll get it. Robbery Friday. Yeah. Just a minute. Let me get there. Yeah, okay. Hang on to it. We'll be right out. Right. Well, the Metro boys did some good.
Huh?
The house. They found it. The address given us on the phone was 1486 Cedar Street down in Compton. It took us 35 minutes to get out there from the city hall. The officers from Metro Division Reserve stood by until we got there. We found the house located on Cedar between Dwight Street and Towada Avenue. It was a 1-story frame building with a stucco garage in the rear of the lot. On the left front side of the house was a wooden porch which had been scraped by some large object. Several of the pickets in the railing were broken. On the street in front of the house next door, we found a 1953 Hudson Jet painted a light blue. There was a dent in the left rear fender. We couldn't tell for certain, but the color of the car and the color of the paint on the porch seemed to match the chips that we'd seen in the crime lab. While the officers from Metro covered the rear of the building, Frank and I rang the front doorbell. There was no answer. We checked the garage, but we found nothing that would tie the house owners in with a robbery kidnapping. The interior walls of the garage were rough wooden studs. Between them, we could see chicken wire embedded in plaster. The physical description of the house, the ramp leading to the garage itself, and the car parked on the street matched in every detail the picture that we'd been given by the victim. 6:10 p.m. We got the name Conrad Lewis from the mailbox in front of the house, and while the officers from Metro checked it with our office, Frank and I went next door to talk with the neighbors.
Yeah?
Wonder if we could talk to you, man.
Sure. Who are you?
Well, it might be better if we got in off the porch.
You ain't coming in here unless I know who and what you are.
We're police officers.
Oh?
Yes, ma'am. Here's our identification.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on in.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm Myrtle Richards.
This is my partner, Sergeant Friday. I'm Frank Smith.
Oh, how do you do?
How are you, ma'am?
You just sit down and I'll turn off the television.
Thank you.
Comedy. I've seen it before a couple of times. I always laugh at them again, though. They're funny.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a great boon to the people, television. This one's only 12-inch, but I think maybe next year I'll get a bigger one, maybe even color. They got it now, you know. It's true color. It's beautiful.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, I ain't actually seen it myself. I just read about it, you know. Beautiful. Oh, I'm a great fan. I got it on all day, right from the early show to the late show. I understand next week one of them stations is going to start an early show. Now, that'll be nice, won't it?
Yes, ma'am, sure. I wonder if we could ask you a few questions.
Why, certainly. You just go right ahead.
That car out front, does that belong to you?
The blue one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's mine. I just got it a few months ago. That's what you're here about, huh?
I beg your pardon?
About how somebody hit my car? Big dent. Isn't that what you're here for?
No, not exactly. Do you know who hit your car?
No. I wish I did. If I knew, I'd sue him. Imagine hitting a car that's parked right at the curb and not leaving a note or something to say who did it. Person that ran into me must be insured. Wouldn't cost him nothing. All he had to do was leave a card.
Yes, ma'am. When was the automobile hit? Do you know?
Yesterday morning. I walked down to the market to do some shopping and get some things for dinner, pretzels, potato chips, things to eat while I watched the TV. When I got back, the dent was there. Did it while I was gone. Did it and didn't even leave a card.
Yes, ma'am. Could you tell us who lives next door to you, please?
Which side?
The left side over there.
Well, that's Lewis's house. Why are you asking about them?
How long have they lived there, do you know?
Yeah, I guess it's been about 10 years. They moved in right after Conrad. That's Mr. Lewis, right after he opened up the new store.
What line of business is he in?
Well, he got some kind of a shipping business. Has deals with different stores all over the state.
Did you see Mr. Lewis yesterday?
Yes. Matter of fact, I did. He come over like usual at 5:30.
He usually come over at that time, does he?
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, yeah. You see, there's a TV show he likes to see. I watch it, but his wife don't care for it. She watches something else, so Conrad comes over here. He was here last night.
You see him during the day at all?
No, I didn't.
You know where they are tonight?
I'm not sure, but I think they went to the movies. Seems to me Mrs. Lewis said that her and Conrad was going to a show over in town.
That's probably for us. I'll get it.
I imagine so. Isn't anybody come calling on me this time of night?
Oh, it's Henderson, Joe. I'll be right back.
All right. Have you noticed any trucks in the neighborhood lately, Mrs. Richards?
Oh, well, I'll have to think about that for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mean like the garbage you can truck, do you?
No, ma'am. Large moving vans.
See the others quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, now, let me see. Well, there were some people who just moved into a new house down the street. That was about a month ago. That didn't help?
Well, thank you, Mrs. Richards.
Joe, see you in a minute.
Yeah. Excuse me, please, Mrs. Richards.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Yeah.
Henderson ran the name Conrad Lewis through the files.
Mm-hmm.
He's been convicted for armed robbery.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Smokers by the thousands are now changing to Chesterfield because they're learning the facts about Chesterfield. Facts like these.
A doctor has been examining Chesterfield smokers for 20 months, almost 2 full years now. We've just received his latest report, and it confirms again no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
That's a matter of record. And so is this. Chesterfield is the only cigarette proved highest in quality, low in nicotine. Those are the facts about Chesterfield. More good reasons why Chesterfields taste so good, smoke so much milder. How about it, friends? Smoke America's most popular two-way cigarette, Chesterfield. Regular and king size. Best for you.
The record showed that Conrad Lewis had been arrested for suspicion of armed robbery 10 years before. He'd been brought to trial, convicted, and sent to San Quentin. He'd served 6 years, and then he'd been released. He was not on parole at the time. Frank and I parked our car down the street from Lewis's house, and we waited for him to return. At 10:57 p.m., we saw a dark-colored Lincoln sedan turn onto the street and swing into the driveway of the Lewis residence. A man and a woman got out of the car and entered the house. Frank and I waited a few minutes, and then we walked up to the front door and rang the bell.
Yeah?
You Conrad Lewis?
Yeah, that's right. Who are you?
Police officers like to talk to you.
Sure, come on in. What's this all about? Something wrong?
You own a truck?
A
truck. Do you own one?
No. You mind telling me what this is all about?
Can you account for your time since Monday night?
Why?
Can you?
Look, I don't know what this is all about, and I'm not going to tell you a thing until you let me know what you want. Now, what do you want?
The answers to those two questions. 12:15 a.m. It had been only a little over 48 hours since Russell Gilmore had been kidnapped and beaten, and we had a suspect in custody. However, Lewis refused to admit any complicity in the crime. We talked to him for several hours, but he told us nothing. He admitted that he'd been arrested before and that he'd served time in San Quentin. However, he stuck to his statement that since his release, he'd done his best to live by the law. With the evidence at hand, he was booked at the main jail on a charge of suspicion of violation of Section 211 PC. We obtained the keys to his place of business, and Frank and I went out to check it. It was a large wholesale store selling used furniture. A search of the premises failed to turn up any of the stolen merchandise. While Frank went through the stock rooms, I checked the business ledgers.
Nothing back there either, Joe. How'd you do?
Well, according to these, Lewis does a big shipping business.
That's what the woman next door told us.
He's been making shipments up to Oakland regular.
Books tell what they were?
Yeah, right here. He's been sending large lots of used stuff to a place on MacArthur Boulevard. There's a whole list of it here. Tables, living room sets, TV sets.
Better get in touch with the police up there and have them check this place out, huh?
Yeah. Without that stolen property, we're not going to have a very good case against him.
You got the address of the place up north?
Yeah. Let's go back to the office and get a call in.
Right. Sure hope they come up with the answers.
Well, if they don't, we might be in trouble.
Yeah?
The DA's office is liable to throw the whole thing out. Thursday, June 5th, 8:20 a.m. We put in a call to Captain of Inspectors Tony Bolger in Oakland and asked him to check on the recipient of the furniture shipment from Lewis. We also gave him as detailed a description of the stolen merchandise as we were able to obtain. In the meantime, Lewis had been admitted to bail and was released. Thursday, 11:15 p.m. Frank and I got back to the office from checking a lead on one of the suspects who'd driven the truck. I got it. Robbery Friday. Yeah. Yes, it is. All right. Tony Bolger from Oakland.
Let's hope we called it.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah? Well, what'd he say? Well, that's the way it looked from here. What? Yeah, right. Okay, thank you.
How about it?
When you talk to the man who bought this stuff, he's clean.
How about the merchandise itself?
It's all stolen. 11:20 p.m. We got in touch with Lieutenant Smyers and filled him in on the new developments. After we talked to him, we contacted Officers Max Herman and Ed Benson and made arrangements to meet them at the house on Cedar Street. It took us less than half an hour to get out to Compton. The other officers were there by the time we arrived. While they covered the back door, Frank and I went up to the front.
You think he knows it's us?
I don't know. Try it again. Well, the car's in the driveway. We know he's in there.
Wait a minute. Sounds like somebody's coming now.
Yeah? What are you doing out here? Aren't you guys ever going to get over
Mind
my
if we come in
back?
and talk?
I got a choice?
No, you haven't.
Well, then come on in. Want to go through the house again?
That won't be necessary.
Yeah. I'm glad of that. What's it about this time?
Same as before.
Maybe you better spell it for me.
We can go that route if that's the way you want it.
Go ahead. I like fairy tales.
All right, we got a report from a victim who was robbed and kidnapped. He was able to give us a description of this house, of your garage, and of the whole setup.
You've been on a spike again. You see him.
We took a sample of the paint from your front porch. It matches paint found on a truck that was hijacked.
A lot of houses in L.A.
Not painted like this one.
You think you're going to send me to the joint with a batch of paint?
It's going to help.
Look, cop, you know I've been the rounds. I've seen enough trouble to know it's rough to get a conviction with circumstantial evidence. That's all you got with me, nothing more. Now, why don't you go home and I'll just forget you were here tonight?
We got the plant.
What?
We got the plant. They moved in on it.
The man you sold the stolen furniture to is willing to testify.
You know we got you cold. Now, why not cop out?
That's the way it hangs, huh?
That's the way.
All right, I'll get my coat and go
Just
with
point it out. We'll get it for you.
in the closet.
Never mind.
He's making a point of it out.
Outside. He's in his car. Yeah, come on. He's heading down toward Rosecrans. Better hit the siren.
Right.
turning on the Rosecrans. Take a left.
I got him.
See him?
Wait a minute. Yeah, up ahead there. Try a shot?
Better not. Too many people around. Can't you close in on him?
I think we're pulling up.
Making a turn.
Yeah.
Stay with him.
Hang on.
It's a dead end, Frank.
Yeah. He's in trouble, Joe.
Come on. Well, let's get him out of there. Yeah, that door's stuck. Wait a minute, I'll give you a hand. There. Can you get him?
Better call an ambulance. The motor's in his lap.
Is he still alive?
Looks like it. Can you help me here?
Yeah, let me get in there. All right. Come on, let's put him down here.
Yeah.
All right, take it easy, Lewis.
I'll call the ambulance.
Right. Take it easy, Lewis. We've sent for a doctor.
I didn't see the sign. I didn't know the street didn't go through. Lousy break. Lousy break. I'd have made it if I stayed off the street. You'd never got me if I'd stayed off the street. I just turned the car and all of a sudden I was on a dead end.
Afraid you're wrong there, mister.
Huh?
You've been there a long time.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 14th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here's our star, Jack Webb.
Well, here it is. The most talked-about Christmas gift of the year. The Chesterfield Christmas Carton. Now featured in nearly 1,300,000 retail tobacco stores from coast to coast. The famous covered bridge has been honored this week by a new Christmas tune, The Kissing Bridge. You'll be hearing a lot of it between now and Christmas. So give the gift that everybody's talking about. America's most popular two-way cigarette. Regular and king-size Chesterfield. Premium quality Chesterfield. Best to give, best to get for Christmas.
Conrad Austin Lewis and his Confederates were apprehended and brought to trial on 11 counts of grand theft auto and 1 count of kidnapping. They were found guilty and sentenced as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1, nor more than 10 years. Kidnapping is punishable by imprisonment for a term of from 1 to 25 years in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Vic Perrin, Virginia Gregg, Jim Griffith. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely new Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Buy new Fatima, the smooth smoke with Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for longer filtering, and Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. This Christmas, give Fatima in the special Christmas carton. Cork tip and plain ends, too.
Hear Merrill Miller and the news next on the NBC Radio Network.
Escape tonight to occupy France and the underground. The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Escape, a new series of programs of which this, the second, is Operation Fleur de Lis, written and directed by William N. Robeson. Today, the 14th of July, the people of a free France celebrate the anniversary of their escape from the tyranny of the kings of Versailles. 158 years ago today, the people of Paris stormed the Bastille and let loose the French Revolution. The torch of liberty set afire that day never burned more fiercely than during the years when France was occupied by the Nazis. We escape tonight to occupied France, from which 3 years ago there was no escape.
You can call me Duke, but don't use my right name. I might want to go back to France someday. And there are a lot of people in the world that wouldn't understand that what I did was justified in the war. No, I don't have any regrets. Moral ones, that is. It isn't what I did to Renee that keeps me awake at night. It's just the memory of her. There isn't much about her in my official report on Operation Fleur de Lis, but then it isn't customary to include descriptions of slim, sunburned legs and wide, deep brown eyes in a military document. And anyway, she was only an incident in the operation, even if she became somewhat more important to me. Operation Fleur de Lis began, like all the others, in the grubby, undistinguished house in London, which was the headquarters of the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services, otherwise known in various parts of the world as screwballs, cutthroats, spies, cloak and dagger boys, and American underground agents.
Gentlemen, Operation Fleur de Lis is planned to assist the advance of our forces once they've secured a beachhead in Normandy.
Is that where we're going in, Major?
That is one of the possibilities, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
You will jump over Grand Mont in northern France, here on the map. You have to set up roadblocks on these 3 state highways. Here, here, and here.
There is an underground contact near Grand Mont?
Yes, Alcine Dutton. He's leader of the local Marquis. He's expecting. In addition, you have to block these railroad lines entering and leaving Grand Mont. These operations are to coincide with the advance of our ground forces.
If they land in Normandy.
If they land in Normandy. You will enplane tonight at 2100 hours and will drop over your objective at, I should think, approximately 2230. Any questions?
No, I don't think so, sir. Well, yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes, Lieutenant?
How many of us are going on this mission?
Just the 2 of you.
Just the 2 of us. And all we had to do was organize an underground army, disrupt the supply lines of a half a dozen Nazi divisions, and give support to the entire Allied invasion. Just the 2 of us. But that's the way the OSS works. And nobody ordered Hill and me into it. We volunteered. I don't know why. Maybe for moments like this one, when you get a B-24 assigned to you as a personal taxi, and there's lots of room to sprawl around after Bombay.
How do you feel?
Fine. Scared? Of course I'm scared, aren't you?
Me? No. This is a walk. You forget how tough it was when we were at parachute school at Benning.
Yeah, that was real rugged.
If the wind wasn't right, you might land in the Chattahoochee and get all wet.
And it was always a chance that you'd sprain your ankle coming down too hard.
And the sun was so bright on some of those daylight jumps.
Whereas we got none of those things to worry about here. A nice, thick, black night over France. No sun to blind us. No Chattahoochee River to fall into.
Hey, Lieutenant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Skipper wants to talk to you on the intercom.
Thanks.
Here, use my can.
Thank you. Duke here.
Lieutenant, I'm over your objective.
Any signal from the ground?
Yes, the one arranged. 4 dots, 2 dashes, green.
Very well.
You and Lieutenant Hill move into the Bombay gas pump. I'll open Bombay doors in 30 seconds.
Roger.
Good luck.
Thanks. Sergeant, stand by to dump those supplies as soon as we're clear.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Ed. This, as someone has said, is it.
So soon? Just as I was settling down a good foot.
Bombay doors are opening, sir.
Okay, Sergeant. All right, Ed, let's check your harness.
The frightful mess, I just can't seem to do a thing with it.
I know, but this is the last party you'll have to wear it on. Okay. How am I?
Well, don't look now, but your chute's showing.
Tuck it in. Let's get out on a catwalk.
Wow, what a refreshing breeze.
And all of France at our feet.
You see the signal?
That's what I'm looking for. There it is. Over to the left. Got it?
Got it. Let's go.
The kid. Junior kid. Help. But for those 10 seconds while you ball free, nothing helps. You hang on to the ripcord and you count off the seconds and you try not to count too fast. Your hand on that lipcord is the only certain thing in the world as you tumble head over teacup with the wind carrying sound from your ears. And there's only one thought, always the same thought, whether it's your first or your 50th jump. Will the chute open? It does. Yanking at your armpits, knocking the breath out of you, slowing you down, and you swing there like a rag doll trying to get your bearings. First, you make out the horizon. That's where the black becomes darker black, where the stars stop. And you wonder about Ed, but you can't risk calling out. And now that you're located where the stars are, you look for the signal light, and there it is, slightly to the left. So you tug at your shroud line, spilling a little air to guide you toward it. And it's coming toward you awfully fast. And you hope this particular French patriot has picked out a field free of trees and church steeples. And then you try to remember all the things they taught you about hitting the ground and rolling with the wind and collapsing your chute. Because it's always like this. You always feel like you've never hit the silk before. And then you're down, and you roll just right, and you collapse your chute, and it's second nature to you after all. And then you hear footsteps running towards you. And you remember another important instruction. You whip out your automatic, and you hope your French is good enough to get you by. Eva, who is it?
Alpine here.
Fleur.
Lee.
Okay, Alpine, come on.
I'm glad you've arrived, Lieutenant.
So it seems.
You have no idea how long we've wished for this moment.
Hold it. That's my partner. Come on. Hey, Ed.
Over here, Duke.
You okay?
My empennage is slightly damaged, otherwise okay.
This is Alphine, our contact. Alphine, Lieutenant Hill.
Oh, Alphine. Lieutenant, it is a great pleasure to make your acquaintance. And on behalf of my countrymen...
Now, let's get these chutes buried and blow this place. Where's your transportation, Alphine?
We haven't any. What?
Where's the safe house?
You might be able to stay at my aunt's. I don't think she'd talk.
You don't think, aren't you sure?
Oh, yes, I'm supremely confident that
Where are the Germans?
They're everywhere. And that is why I'm so glad you're here. Now we can fight again. With your help, we will kill many Boches.
Wait a minute. How many are there in your Marquis?
Myself and 2 others.
Just 3 of you?
Oh, my aching back. But now that the Americans are here, we can do anything.
Oh, why don't they get these things straight in London? How can we block roads with a 3-man Marquis?
3 men and an aunt who perhaps will not talk.
Well, let's get cracking.
Duke, you're not going through with this mad venture, are you?
What would you suggest?
Well, as for me, I'm all for taking the next plane back to London.
Another piece of bread, Lieutenant.
No, thank you, ma'am.
This bone chicken is delicious. How do you call it?
K-ration.
Supreme. We've had nothing like it since the boss came.
Yeah, well, you get used to it. And cigarettes, Tante Marie. Cigarettes made of real tobacco. You Americans have everything.
Madame, Alphine, you are kind, you are hospitable. But the comforts of K-ration will not block roads. We need men. We must form a Marquis.
But we have a Marquis.
Look, Alphine, there are 3 of you and 2 of us. Sure, we've got guns and we've got ammunition and supply chutes somewhere out in that field where we landed. We've got armed 50 men. But if we had those men, we still couldn't go to war against the German division.
Now, you said yourself there's at least a division garrison in Grammont.
What must we do?
First, we must organize a Marquis. We need men. Can you get them?
I can go into the village and talk to my friends.
Should have done that a long time ago.
Faustine, that would be most unwise.
Why?
Didn't you know? Faustine is a patriot. He's a deserter from the Vichy army, so he's wanted by the Gestapo.
Oh, great. And there's a Gestapo headquarters in Grammont, of course.
Of course. Faustine is not one to run from danger.
Quite the contrary.
I can get Renee to help.
Who's Renee?
Alphine's sweetheart, a lovely girl from Paris. Poor thing, she had to come down to the country because her house was bombed out.
Let's leave her out of this.
But, Lieutenant, she would be most happy to help.
Alphine, you've got a lot to learn about guerrilla warfare. You might as well study your first lesson right now. It's short and to the point. No games. Well, the next day, we collected the supplies, which had been dropped with us, and we set up a camp deep in the woods. Hill and I were loaded with French money, so we were able to buy food from the friendly farmers. Maybe it was the food as much as patriotism that brought us recruits. Anyway, after a week, we had nearly 30 men. Our Marquis wasn't big enough for the job we had to do, but it was growing in the right direction. And then one night, as I was winding up a report to London...
Oh? What do they say?
What do they ever say? Message acknowledged. Carry on.
Well, what about new batteries for the radio? What about extra ammunition for the Buck Rogers guns? When are they going to get another drop to us?
Why don't you ask them?
Yeah.
They do the best they can, I guess. After all, we're not the only Boy Scouts in this jamboree.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Duke.
Yeah?
There goes Alcine again, off toward the road.
What's it? Hey, Alcine!
Yes?
Come here a minute.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Where are you going?
I was just taking a stroll.
You on night guard?
Not tonight.
You weren't on night guard last night, were you?
No, Lieutenant.
Or the night before?
No, sir.
But you weren't in camp all night, were you?
No, sir.
What's the matter? Don't you like the camp? Rather sleep at your aunt's? Is it too rugged out here for you?
No, sir.
Then where were you?
In the village.
You know the orders. No one is to go into the village.
Yes, Lieutenant, but I only go in at night.
That makes no difference.
But it does. You see, Lieutenant, I'm so in love.
Oh, great. The girl from Paris?
Yes. You should see her, Lieutenant. She's the most beautiful, the most charming.
Don't you know you're endangering the whole Marquis by disobeying my orders?
Oh, no, sir. There's no danger with Renee. She hates the bush. Why, she wants to join us.
You've told her about us?
Oh, yes, sir.
Are you out of your mind? How do you know she's all right?
I just know that's all. She's the most wonderful person in the world. She's a real patriot.
I told you, rule number 1 is no game.
Yes, but Renee is different.
Yeah. Well, you better marry her before you bring her around here, or you'll have to share her with the rest of these wolves.
Lieutenant, do I understand you?
Forget it, Elsie. It's just an American figure of speech.
May I tell Renee she can join us?
Oh, not quite yet. Later, maybe.
Yes, Lieutenant. Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
If you got to take it, Alcine, take it easy.
I do not understand.
Just another American idiom, Elsie. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Hey, Duke. You gonna let him get away with that?
Well, what are we going to do?
Slap him into the guardhouse for 30 days.
Only this isn't the American Army. We haven't any guardhouse.
Yeah, thanks from a security standpoint.
I know. If we try to keep these boys from sneaking off home every now and then, we're not going to have any Marquis.
He's French. An immoral race.
I don't know about that. Remember Phoenix City, Alabama?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
There wasn't anything we could do. If we'd ordered Alcine to stay in camp, he'd have sneaked off anyway. He had that dreamy, faraway look that's baffled parents, teachers, and first lieutenants since the beginning of time. I didn't worry so much about it because our Marquis was growing, and Ed Hill and I were breaking our backs pushing those French kids through an airsoft basic in 3 weeks. Headquarters in London didn't tell us much, but we did know from the BBC that the boys had landed at Omaha Beach, and it wouldn't be long before they'd be needing our roadblock. And then one morning, about D+4, I think it was, I was out in the woods running a squad through concealment. Oh, no. Hit the dirt. Don't wait till you're dead. When you see the signal, hit the dirt right now.
Pardon me, Lieutenant.
Huh? Oh, I'll see. Where have you been all night as though I didn't know?
Lieutenant, I've got to talk to you.
Okay, I'll be through here in a half hour or so.
I've got to talk to you now.
Huh? All right, Elsie. Okay, boys, take 5. Come along, Elsie. What's on your mind?
Lieutenant, my family's been killed.
Oh, no.
Yes, by the Gestapo. Set fire to the house. My mother, my father, and my 2 sisters. They ran out, the Gestapo shot them.
You're sure of this?
Yes, I heard it this morning from the neighbor who saw it happen.
The poor kid.
When can we attack, Lieutenant? When can we stop this endless training and fight the bush? No, I want only to kill and kill and kill until I pay them back for my father, my mother, my 2 sisters.
Yeah, I know. You'll get your chance, Elsie, but not yet. We gotta wait. We're not ready yet.
I'm ready. Before I wanted to fight the bush for my country. Now I want to kill him again and again. For them.
I know, but you gotta be patient.
It should happen to me now. Only last night Renee said she'd marry me. Come to live here with me, and he came. I was so happy. And this morning I learned this news.
When did you hear from your mother last?
Not for a month, since we began to work, but I've written her every week.
Yeah? Who mailed the letters?
And they mailed them for me. She's so kind and thoughtful. She offered to mail letters home for the other boys, too.
Nice of her. Did they take advantage of her offer?
A couple of them.
Who?
Paul and Jean. I told them about it. They wrote their family.
And Renee mailed the letters, huh?
She's a wonderful person, Lieutenant. You're going to love her.
Yeah, I think I am.
She's all I've got in the world now.
2 and 2 make 4 in occupied France, just the same as anywhere else. And sometimes it's just as hard to prove. But one thing was sure. Now I wanted to meet Renee in the worst way. But I had to postpone the pleasure because early that afternoon one of the outposts broke into camp out of breath. Yes, Paul.
The boats. They're coming down the road through the forest.
How many?
I did not stop to count them. Several truckloads, to be sure.
Pass the word to Lieutenant Hill. Ask him to bring his detail into camp on the double.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Alfie.
Yes, sir?
Take 2 men and go down to the road and see what they're up to.
Yes, sir.
Just reconnoiter. Don't fire at them.
But this is my chance for revenge.
Listen to me. Don't fire at them at the command.
Yes, sir.
They may not be after us at all. Now get going.
Immediately, Lieutenant.
What's the order of the day, Duke? Plant scram?
Yeah, looks like it. All your men here?
President accounted for.
All right, boys, now gather around, will you, and get this. There's a convoy of Germans coming down the forest road. Now, wait a minute. We're not going to fight them. You know what our job is. Roadblock. We got tanks, artillery, and airplanes that'll be along soon to do the killing. Now, look, our security's been pretty good. And those Krauts may be on a routine patrol. Chances are they don't even know we're here.
They do now. Listen.
Yeah. Well, that does it. All right. Your men got your weapons? Good. Well, you know the procedure. Get lost. Before you leave the forest, bury your weapons, ammunition, and equipment. Rendezvous at the home of Alcine's aunt at 2200 hours tonight. Good luck. Come on, Ed. Let's scram.
Well, he who doesn't fight and runs away lives to fight another day.
Something like that.
Who tipped them off?
I'm not sure, but I got a pretty good idea.
Who's down there at the road?
Alcine. He's fighting a private war, the poor jerk. The basic rule of 3 in guerrilla warfare is surprise, kill, vanish. However, when you're surprised, the only rule is vanish. And we did. There were about 50 Germans and a half a dozen dogs to track our scent. They spent the day thrashing through the woods, firing into the underbrush, and finding nothing. What a classic withdrawal. And Hill and I were proud of our little army, with the exception of Alcine, its self-appointed hero. When we arrived at his aunt's house that night for the rendezvous, a half a dozen of the boys were already there.
Who is it?
Fleur.
De Lis. Lieutenant, come in.
Good evening, madame.
I've seen him already here. I'm so proud of him.
Oh, Lieutenant, I was just telling Aunt Marie and the boys. It was magnificent. I got 2 of them. I killed 2 Boche.
Your orders were not to shoot.
But, Lieutenant, what would you?
What happened to the other boys that were with you?
Jean was wounded and captured. Antoine became frightened and ran away.
That blows the Marquis. I'll get the full particulars from Jean.
They haven't got him already.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant, but...
Quiet. Answer it, madame.
Who is it?
Look.
De Lis.
Open it.
Good evening, madame.
Come in, boys.
Running any trouble, boys?
As you see, we are here.
Yeah.
But not for long. Lieutenant,
Yes,
Lowell and I wish to withdraw from the Marquis.
Quit? Why?
The risk is too great.
You afraid?
For myself, no. But after what happened to John.
He was wounded and captured. We all take that risk.
Yes, but last night the Gestapo got Jean's family. Like they did Alcine. Stood them up in front of their house and shot them. Who knows who'll be next? My mother, Raoul's sister, Alcine's aunt. I wish to withdraw.
I don't know why. Right, now, wait a minute. I don't blame you for being worried about your family. But whose families do you think the British and American armies up in Normandy are fighting to liberate? Their own? No, yours. Now, this thing isn't as bad as it looks. There's been a leak in our security. Somebody's been putting a finger on it. So we lay low until the leak's plugged.
But the Germans are everywhere. Spies, perhaps, too, are everywhere.
I think I know who's responsible for these murders. I'll make a deal with you. Give me a couple of days to work it out. We'll issue you boys some money, and all you've got to do is to get lost until Saturday night. And then meet me back here. If I haven't patched up our security by then, you can all quit the Marquis and become collaborators.
Oh, it is not that, Lieutenant.
No one wishes to collaborate.
Well, one must think of one's family.
Okay. Dad.
Yeah, dude.
Give the boys 1,000 francs apiece.
Right? Come and get it, boy.
Come on. Alcine.
Yes, my lieutenant?
I'm going to have a little time on my hands for the next couple of days. Do you think you could arrange to introduce me to your girlfriend?
Oh, but of course, Lieutenant.
Maybe, if she's okay, like you say, we can let her sign up.
I am desolated with happiness, Lieutenant.
One thing. None of that lieutenant business around here until I make sure she's all right.
Very well.
You think my Frankie's good enough to pass as a native?
But of course, Lieutenant.
All right, and pass me off as a friend of yours. Let's see, I need a name. Let's call me Jacques Dufresne.
Jacques Dufresne. Good, I will make the arrangements immediately.
I thought you'd like an excuse to get into town tonight. The next afternoon, Alcine brought the girl out to the woods near his aunt's house. I stood behind a tree to watch and make sure they weren't being followed. She was all right. Tall, long, sunburned legs, her hair caught in a blue ribbon like a little girl's. I let them walk by, and then I stepped from behind my tree.
Oh, there you are, Jack.
Hello, Alcine.
Rene, this is my good friend, Jacques Dufresne. He's from Paris, too. Jack, this is Rene de Dubois.
Glad to meet you, mademoiselle.
And I'm honored to meet you, monsieur. Where do you live in Paris?
Near the Port du Lilas, but my home is no longer there. It was bombed out.
Alas, so is mine.
My family remain with friends, but I've come out into the country to fight with the resistance.
Jacques has much influence with the commander of our Marquis.
Oh, I hope you will be able to persuade him to let me join you, monsieur.
I shall do what I can.
It would be a privilege and an honor to work with a patriot like you.
See, Jacques, I told you Rene was all right.
You didn't tell me the half of it. Mademoiselle, you understand that we must be cautious. There are questions I must ask of a confidential nature.
Why don't we meet again? Alone.
Why not?
Say, tonight? I have a little car. We might take a drive.
Fine.
But, Rene, you promised me that...
You'll see me some other time next year. Remember, France comes first.
We just drove that night. She was wearing a white ribbon in her hair and a loose white dress and no stockings. We just drove around in her little Citroën with the top down and the wind blowing her hair like a girl in a magazine ad. Then we came back about midnight and parked with the bridge. I felt like I was back in high school in Illinois.
Look at those stars.
Yeah.
So many of them. So close you can almost reach out and touch them.
Yeah.
I had them all once. I reached out and gathered them all in my arms once.
Yeah?
I want you to know all about me, Jacques.
I want to.
Don't think it's wrong of me. But I've been in love.
There's nothing wrong in being in love.
He is a soldier.
Most everybody is these days.
A German soldier.
Oh.
Don't you think that love is bigger than war or hate or anything?
Yeah, I guess so.
He's dead now.
That's good. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm not sorry he's dead.
I'm so confused. I want to understand things. I want to be intelligent about things. Everything is so mixed up. Like now.
Like now?
Yes. Look, I've never been so happy as I am tonight.
Not even with the German?
Not even with him. Why does it have to end? Why do those blessed stars have to go out one by one to make way for another day of war? Why can't we stop time? You and I. Gather all the stars together. Just for us.
I don't know, baby. Never been done before. But we can try.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night?
Same time, same place. Forever, if you say the word.
Forever?
Sure, why not? Who knows how long forever is in this crazy world? Why not have it together? Why not get married?
Why not, my most beloved?
See you tomorrow night.
I'll only be half alive until then. Sherry, if you want to write to your family in Paris, give me the letter tomorrow night, and I'll mail it for you.
No.
All right, drop that rock and grab a sock. Rise and shine, lover boy. I brought you a cup of chocolate. Figured you want breakfast in bed this morning.
Okay.
How'd you make out last night?
Okay.
Details? What's up with details?
Nothing much to report. We drove, and then we parked for a while and talked.
Did you give anything away?
No information. She's a funny kid. Her dialogue is as corny as a bobby sock. She knows she's pretty, so she wants to be admired for her mind. But I'm sure she's Mata Hari.
How come?
She offered to mail a letter to my family.
That's consistent.
I asked her to marry me.
What?
She didn't believe me, but she pretended like she did. I don't know why she's doing what she's doing. Thrills, maybe.
French juvenile delinquent.
Maybe. Tonight's the night.
The night you get married?
No, the night we get her. The boys are meeting us here at midnight, you know.
What's the plan?
Well, I'll take another ride with her. And about midnight, we'll be back and park for the bridge. You'll be there out of sight. I'll have some brandy along, and I'll slug her drink with a capture pill. When she's passed out, I'll give you the come on, and you join me. Here, baby, have another drink, huh?
I shouldn't. Brandy always makes me sleepy.
Well, what of it? This is a celebration of our engagement.
Oh, kiss me, sir. Again and again.
Sure.
Chuck, the stars are near. Nearer than they've ever been.
Nearer than you think, baby.
I love you, Chuck. I do love you. Kiss me again. Do it again. And again.
Willie. Baby. Are you asleep? You collaborationist pig, can you hear me? Okay, Ed. She out? Like a red light in an air raid. Here's her purse. Start through it while I untangle myself.
Now, take a look at this.
What is it?
A letter from Gestapo headquarters confirming receipt of 3 addresses.
Let me see that. Well, that one's Alcine's family, and that one's John's.
And here's a Gestapo identification card.
Flash your light over there. Look at her.
What a dish.
Look at that kisser. And she's responsible for the death of 6 people whose only crime was being born French. She'd have wrecked our marquee, snafu our mission, and turned me over to the Gestapo with her lipstick still in my collar. That gorgeous hunk of double-cross. Now we got the proof. Let's get on with it.
Okay. I guess you'd rather I know.
No, this is my job.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah. So long, honey. Thanks.
She ain't so gorgeous now.
Finish that handbrake. Got it. Come on, shove. Not yet. Keep that steering wheel straight. The river's deepest right at the center of the bridge. Now, hard right on the wheel. You know something, Ed?
Huh?
I think she finally did gather that armful of stars. Sure, the operation was successful. When the time came, our roadblocks tied up 3 German divisions while Patton rolled on to the east. But I still lie awake at night thinking I should have married that dame. Yeah, the operation was successful, but the patient died.
Operation Fleur de Lis was written, directed, and produced by William N. Robeson with Jack Webb as Duke Elliot Lewis as Hill, Peggy Weber as Renee, and Harry Bartell as Alcine. Operation Fleur de Lis was based on an incident from the files of the OSS, recorded in Sub Rosa by Stuart Alsop and Thomas Braden. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Pure. Escape is presented by CBS and its affiliated stations each week at this time. Next week, we invite you to escape with F. Scott Fitzgerald in his unforgettable story, The Diamond as Big as the Ritz. And so, good night, until next week, when again it will be time to escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Bunko Fugitive Detail. An organized gang of pickpockets is working in your city. None of the victims can give a description of the suspects. There's no lead to their identity. Your job? Get them.
It was Tuesday, May 10th. We were working the day watch out of Bunko Fugitive Division, pickpocket detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Gideon. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from communications, and it was 11:14 a.m. when I got to room 38. Bunko.
Joe?
Yeah.
Anything come in from St. Louis?
Yeah, they checked the Carney's plan back there. No trace of Beck.
Trip was wrong then, huh?
Yeah, looks like it.
Where to now?
Well, about all we can do is sit and wait for a reply on the radiogram. He's got to be someplace, and he isn't going to stop working. There'll be word on him somewhere.
I'll be glad when we turn the key.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
I wonder if you could help me.
Well, we'll try, sir. You want to come on in? What's it all about?
I've been robbed.
Sir?
They took my money, all of it, every bit. I don't know how, but they took it all. I don't know what to do.
Well, do you want to sit down?
Yes, please. I don't know how they did it. I tried to be so careful, but they took it all. 37 years doing without, and now I got nothing.
Well, this is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday. Maybe if you tell us what happened here, we could help you.
Yes, maybe. I'm Louis Bonning.
Yes, sir?
I live at 1820 Woodward Court, Los Angeles, 12. I have a room there.
I see.
$14 a week in privileges.
If you tell us what happened, Mr. Bonning, we might be able to do something for you.
And I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to think of what happened. I don't believe it yet.
Oh, now, you said you were robbed. Is that right?
Yes. $5,200. All gone.
Well, were you held up?
No, nothing like that. If it was that way, I'd know. But just all of a sudden, I put my hand in my pocket to feel the money, and it wasn't there. Nothing was there. I had a pocket full of empty.
Now, sir, do you usually carry that much money around with you?
No, mister. I got it from the bank this morning. I'm going away. I was leaving Los Angeles. That's why I had the money, so I could leave.
All right, sir. Suppose you start right at the beginning and tell us the whole story, will you?
Well, my wife passed on 4 weeks ago, Monday, April 4th. Yeah, that's when it happened, April 4th.
Uh-huh.
We came to this country when we were both young. She died 4 weeks ago.
Yes, sir. If you'd go on about the theft, please.
Well, I thought I'd maybe go back to Chicago to live with one of my daughters. She asked me to come, and I thought I would, so I drew out the money.
You took the money out of the bank?
Yes, this morning. $5,200. It's what we'd saved. I couldn't leave it here in the bank if I was going to be in Chicago.
Well, you could have had the money transferred, you know.
Well, I guess that's what I should have done, but it's too late now.
Did you have the money when you left the bank?
Yes. I rolled the bills up and put them here in my pocket. Here, this one on the left side. I kept my hand on the money, so I knew it was there.
Now, what'd you do after you left the bank?
Well, I was going home. I thought I'd walk home. I went down the street, and then I thought I'd stop for some coffee. I was all packed at my room, so I didn't want to make a mess. So I thought I'd have a cup of coffee out.
Mm-hmm.
I went into the big market. They have a coffee counter there, and I went in and sat down. All the time I kept my hand on the money. I could feel it through the pants. It was in my pocket.
Yes, sir.
I had the coffee, and then I went to go out of the market. As I walked through all the people, a box fell off a stack of boxes and almost hit me. I didn't think anything about it. Nobody was hurt. All the people in the market came over to me and asked if I was all right, but I said yes, I was all right. Then I went out of the market. I got on the street. When I remembered about the money, it was gone.
Now, it had been taken from you in the market, is that right?
Yes, mister. It was in the market, I think.
Well, let's get this straight. While you were in there, did anyone bump into you?
I don't understand.
I mean, anyone jostle you, bump into you without reason?
No, I don't remember.
Did anybody follow you from the bank to the market that you noticed?
It was hard to tell, mister. There are a lot of people on the streets. It would be hard to tell if there was anyone.
Yes, sir, I understand. But was there any one person you recall having seen this morning? One face that you might remember, maybe?
No, mister. I tried to think about it, but there's no one.
I see.
Do you think you'll get it back for me?
Sir?
The money. It makes a big difference.
How's that?
Before, when I had the money, I could go and live with my daughter. With the money, I could be independent. It would be a different feeling. You understand, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
That's why it's so important you get the money back, so I can go live with my daughter. So I can do that. That's the only reason I trouble you. The only reason I have to ask you to find the man. That's the only reason I got it.
It's a little different with us, sir.
Huh?
We've got another one. For the past several weeks, we've been getting reports of the existence of an organized gang of pickpockets working in Los Angeles. Contrary to most opinion, a pickpocket seldom works alone. Like everything else, it's gotten to be a highly specialized operation. Normally, there are several men to each team. The jug mob, who usually spends his time in banks looking for the victim. The shover, who pushes or bumps the victim so his money can be taken. And the wire, who does the actual pocket picking. In certain types of operation, the jug mob is replaced by the short, who works streetcars and spots people who have large amounts of money. Under normal circumstances, a professional group of pickpockets can take approximately $5,000 a day out of a tip or a crowd. 11:47 a.m. We had the victim, Louis Bonning, look through the pictures of known pickpockets for a possible identification of the man who'd taken his money. He was unable to find anybody who looked familiar. We told him to go home, and we said that we'd be in touch with him. 12:35 p.m. Frank and I checked back into the office.
It's a rough one, huh?
Yeah, they all come out that color, don't they? I sure hope we can do some good for him.
Yeah, nice old guy.
You want to get in touch with Slim Ramos? Let's go down and talk to him. He might be able to come up with something.
Yeah, I'll get his number. Get a new book. This one's getting almost impossible to use.
Yeah.
Look at this. Numbers all crossed out, when they change the prefixes.
Yeah.
Sure made a mess out of my book. Here it is. Expert. 4. Slim Ramos there? Hey, Slim, this is Frank Smith. Yeah. Good. Yeah, say, Slim. Now, wait a minute. No, the reason I called you, Joe and I'd like to come down and talk to you if it's okay. You going to be there this afternoon? Uh-huh. No, nothing wrong. Just a couple of things we want to check over with you. Yeah. Okay. See you around 2:30, huh? Is that all right? Yeah. Okay. No, I know where it is. Right. See you then. He's going to be in all afternoon. Said he'd be glad to see us.
Good. Maybe he's got something we can use on this thing.
Well, he'll lay it out for us if he has.
Oh, it's the one good thing about starting with nothing in it.
Yeah.
We can only go one way. 12:06 p.m. Frank and I checked out of the office and we started for Santa Monica. Slim Ramos had been one of the best pickpockets in the business. He'd been arrested and served a term in San Quentin. After he'd been paroled, he'd opened a small stand on one of the amusement piers near the beach. From his past record, Ramos had been cooperative with the police department, and several arrests were attributed to his information. Ramos was operating a Wheel of Fortune booth at the end of the pier. Frank and I parked the car and walked out.
Quite a place, huh?
Yeah.
I got to bring the kids down here some Sunday. They get a real kick out of it.
Yeah. That's Slim's booth there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't see him.
He said he'd be here.
He might be around back.
Yeah. I'd sure like to win one of those hams.
Yeah.
Big ones, aren't they?
Uh-huh. Slim, you around?
Yeah, hold on. Be right out. Hi, Joe, Frank.
Hi,
how are you?
I was in the back packaging some groceries.
Uh-huh.
What can I do for you?
I'd like to talk to you about a cannon operation.
Yeah, I should have known. Come on back here. We can sit down.
All right.
Hey, watch your heads on the counter.
Yeah.
Got a couple of chairs back here. Come on, I can finish up the sacking.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, what's it about?
You got any rumbles about a bunch working the downtown area?
What kind of operation?
Jug mob?
Looks like I heard something about a bunch coming in from the east. KC, I think. Seems I heard they worked a couple of still dates with a carny back there. Boss didn't know they were working. When he found out, he had them kicked off the lot.
You got any names for us?
No, not right off. Gonna check around. Might be able to come up with them. What's the bit?
Yeah, they've been scoring good working the downtown area. Took an elderly man for his life savings this morning.
Uh-huh. Figures.
Huh?
They always pick on the elderly ones. Bump into a young guy, might give you trouble. Pick the old ones, they don't seem to notice it.
Yeah. How you been doing, Slim?
Oh, good. Got it real good. I ain't killing the world, but my rent's paid. I know there ain't going to be a fuzz on my tail tonight. I got it real good.
How long you been here now?
Oh, guess it's been about a year. Thought if I could get permission, I might go out with a carny this year. You know, work the front end.
Mm-hmm.
Got a letter from a friend that's got a grind store with one of the big ones. Says he might be able to get me in.
A grind store?
Yeah, you know, everybody plays, everybody wins. Pay a dime to win a piece of slum worth maybe a couple of cents. Well, this carny I might go with's got no grift in the front end, all percentage games. The way I figured, if you go out with a good one, the weather holds, you're going to do all right.
You figure you can come out better than you do here?
Oh, sure. You see, we get a real good play over the weekends. Regular days, it's kind of slow. Go out with a big carny, you can draw crowds anytime if the weather's good. Bound to come out better.
Mm-hmm. You'll check into those names for us, will you, Slim?
Yeah, I'll make a couple of calls.
Can you make them now?
No, I'll have to get in touch with the guys tonight. I'll get back to you first thing in the morning.
All right, fine.
Same number, Michigan 5211?
That's right, Bunko Fugitive.
Yeah, all right, I'll give you a call. Buy you guys a cup of coffee?
No, thanks, Slim. We're just going to eat. You want to come along? We'll buy you one.
Okay. Now, hold on while I check with Harry. Have him keep an eye on things.
All right.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
Now, watch the counter. I came up too fast the other day, like took all the skin off my back.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. I'll be right back.
All right.
Nice-looking place, huh?
Yeah. He's painted it since we were down here last time.
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
You painted up the place, huh, Slim?
Yeah, thought I might turn a bigger tip if the place looked good. You know, people like a clean-looking place.
How are the rest of the booths doing down here, Slim?
Doing pretty good. I told you. Great. Other times a little slow.
Uh-huh. Any grift down here?
No, at least if there is, I haven't heard of it. Guy in the Santa Monica Police Department, Lieutenant Cunningham, he keeps the place real clean.
Yeah, that's right.
Last thing I heard about was a guy who was working with a camelback wheel.
A what?
Camelback. Like mine, only this was gaffed.
How?
Smoothest pitch around. The arrow is connected to a spindle. Spindle goes through a stand. Looks like there'd be no way to G it. Plain pipe. Looks clean.
What's the gimmick?
Well, the frame rests on 4 pins. Pins are supposed to be what anchors it to the counter.
Uh-huh.
Now, 3 of the pins go into one piece of the counter. They really do hold the wheel in place. The other one goes through a separate piece of wood on the booth side of the counter. There's a space between the board on the booth side and the one the 3 legs go through.
Yeah.
Now, the pin in the 4th leg is loose. It's connected with a bunch of levers inside the pipe, acts as a brake on the wheel. All the operator has to do is lean against the board, and he's got complete control of the wheel all the time.
Well, that's a real nice deal, isn't it?
Yeah, the way they figured, it's perfect. In case they get a cowboy in the crowd, the mark can pick the wheel right up out of the counter. Shows that there's no wires running to it. The wheel's gaffed, and there's no way to prove it. Set it up with a couple of sticks in front, let them win a couple of times, you got it made. That's the way they figure it. Doesn't work out, though.
Well.
Now, like on my wheel, I got 120 numbers on it. Figure I get good action, I'm going to have maybe half of them covered. Right off, the odds are on my side.
Uh-huh.
Out of the rest, there's only one winner. Half of them covered means a gross of about $6. I give away $5 worth of groceries. Even with a winner, I come out every time. Percentages prove it. Look at it that way, you don't need a gaff wheel.
Yeah, it's too bad more of them don't figure it like that. So.
Yeah, I suppose. Took me a long time to find it out.
Yeah, but you came up with the answers.
I hope I can do the same for you on the cannon operation.
So do we.
It's funny. I get to thinking when I was working as a wire, how we figured that any time we could lift a poke from the mark was a big laugh. A lot of difference now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Now I sleep nights.
2:15 p.m. We continued to talk to our informant, Slim Ramos. He said that he didn't know the name of the carnival the possible suspects had been fired from. He said that he'd call some of his contacts and try to get the information for us. We set up a time for him to get in touch with us, and then Frank and I drove back to the office. We contacted Captain Didion and made arrangements for additional men to be assigned to help us. Sergeants John DeBetta and Danny Gilmore were asked to aid us in a search of the market where the victim had been robbed. We spent the next 3 hours in the market looking at the crowd in the hopes that we'd see a known pickpocket or even see a wire in operation, but the surveillance netted us nothing. We made arrangements for the victim's bank to be watched the following morning. 6:15 p.m. Frank and I got back to the squad room.
Place sure does a good business, doesn't it?
What?
The market, Joe. A lot of people go in there.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
Well, I was just thinking. I guess it comes down to the point where the only way to hang on to your money is to carry it in your hand and keep your fist closed.
It's darn close. I was talking with Lieutenant Jack Swan. He was telling me a guy came in here from Nebraska, came in by bus.
Yeah.
was sitting in the station waiting for a coach to take him up north. Had all his money in his shoe.
In his shoe?
Yeah, had it in his left shoe. Had the money all flat so we could walk on it. Figured it'd be safe there.
Well, wasn't it?
No. Dozed off for a minute. The next thing you know, his shoe's off and the money's gone.
How would anybody know where it was?
I don't know. The guy that took it found it, though. Guy dozed off for a minute, loses his shoe and all his money.
Anything turn up on it?
No.
I get it. Bunko Fugitive Friday. Yeah. Yeah, Slim. Mm-hmm. What was that name again? Yeah. Mm-hmm. What did he say about it? No, wait a minute. Frank?
Yeah. Here you go.
Let me have a pencil. Pencil, too.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, Slim, go ahead. Was it with a K? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What? O-L-C? C is in Charlie. O-T-T. Right. You know where they stand? Uh-huh. All right. Well, give us a call if anything more turns up, huh? Right. Okay, Slim. Thanks a lot. Right. Bye.
How do you do?
Well, pretty good. 3 names of the guys who work the Kearney and KC.
Yeah?
Slim talked to a friend, got the information that the guys who work in the downtown area have been scoring real good.
Say where we could find them?
No, he's going to try to get the address for us.
Well, we took a big jump just knowing who they are.
Deal now is to make it work.
What do you mean?
Well, Slim says his bunch is pretty hinky. They're playing it real careful.
Yeah.
Word's out they got 2 more big scores to make, and then they're going to leave town.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
The 3 names our informant had given us were Howard Kremer, Victor Leiden, and Edward Alcott. We had the names checked through our record bureau, but we found that none of the 3 men had been arrested in Los Angeles. We got a radiogram off to the police department in Kansas City, the last place the trio was known to have worked. We asked that all information on the thieves be forwarded to us. We also sent a teletype to George Brereton up at Sacramento CII, asking him to check the names for us. The following morning, Wednesday, May 11th, we got word from Kansas City that the officials there were forwarding mugshots and descriptions of the 3 men. During the day, Frank and I met with Captain Didion, and a surveillance of the downtown area banks was set up. On Friday morning, when Frank and I checked into work, a special delivery letter was waiting for us. In it, we found the records and pictures of Kremer, Leiden, and Alcott. The pictures were handed over to the photo lab, and they started to reproduce them. The descriptions were sent to the print shop, and M.O. sheets were made up. As soon as possible, the pictures and the bulletins were distributed to all bank guards in the area. Additional officers from Bunko Fugitive were placed in the vicinity. Frank and I maintained a rolling stakeout in the downtown area. At 9 p.m. Friday night, the banks closed, and we'd gotten no report that the thieves had worked. Local broadcasts were gotten out on the men, but there were no replies. Monday, May 16th. The plan was put into effect again. No results. Tuesday, the gang didn't work. Began to look as if they might have closed up operations in Los Angeles and moved on. Wednesday, May 18th, Frank and I came back from lunch. I get it. Bunko Fugitive Friday. Yes, sir. That's right. Where? Right. No, don't do anything. Let them know. Right. Let's go.
Something good?
The shover, bank guard, just spotted him. The call had come from a bank at the corner of 7th and Jackson Streets. The guard told us that he'd seen one of the suspects enter the bank and, under the pretense of filling out deposit slips, observe the withdrawals that the customers were making. It took us a little under 3 minutes to get to the address. We checked with the guard, and he pointed out the suspect. Frank pretended to make out a deposit slip while I waited at the new account desk. When we entered the bank, the suspect was standing at the teller's window. In front of him was an elderly man. As the line moved up, the suspect began to examine the slip that he'd made out. Then, as the elderly man took his turn at the window, the suspect walked away and stopped by the door. He waited for the man to finish his business at the teller's counter. Then, as he passed through the door, the suspect fell and stepped behind him. Frank and I followed him down the street. As he walked through the crowds, he was joined by Edward Alcott, the shover in the operation. The elderly man entered a small tobacco store, and as he went through the door, the wire, Howard Kremer, joined the other 2 suspects. As the elderly man stood at the counter waiting to be served, the shover walked over to the magazine rack. He stood looking at the magazines for a moment, and then as he turned away, he seemingly tripped and fell against the proposed victim. Both Frank and I knew it was coming. We were watching for it, and yet we missed the actual theft. The wire moved in and removed the victim's money so fast that we couldn't see it. The shover took the wallet from the wire, and the gang was ready to move on. Frank and I stepped into him. All right, Mr. Police Officers, you're under arrest. For what? Stop dreaming. You know the route. Now, come on. Beat it. All right, grab the knife. All right, mister. Come on your feet. Get up.
Wait for me, cop. Leave me alone. You're going to regret this. Shoving a citizen around. No reason for this.
How about the other two?
They're out.
All right, let's get him downtown.
How about the victim?
No, he left when the beat started. Better try to catch him.
Yeah. You're going to be sorry for this. You wait. You're going to be real sorry shoving an honest citizen around.
Yeah, that's the trouble with you punks.
What do you mean?
You're wrong on both counts. The three suspects were taken into custody and brought downtown. The victim's wallet was found on the person of Edward Alcott. It was identified by the owner and booked as evidence. 3:15 p.m. We took the wire, Howard Kremer, to the interrogation room.
Sit down, Kramer.
Yeah.
All right, you want to give us a statement?
For what?
Come off it. You know what we're talking about.
You got to have me cross with somebody else. I'm trying to level with you. I don't know what you're talking about.
You want us to lay it out for you?
I don't care much either way. You guys slam into a store where I'm trying to buy a pack of cigarettes, and all of a sudden I got handcuffs on. You tell me I'm hooked for being a pickpocket.
That's the way you want to tell it, huh?
There ain't any other words.
Your two friends tell it different.
What two friends?
Two fellas we picked up with you?
This is a big town. A lot of people. You walk into a store, you don't ask who's standing next to you.
They put the whole deal on you.
Who?
Lyden and Alton.
Never heard them.
How long do you figure you're going to keep this up, mister?
As long as it takes to get you on my side.
They don't build days that long.
That's your loss. I'm a nice fellow if you take the time to get to know me.
All right, Kramer, this is way off the road. Now, maybe you got all day. We haven't. You can either give it to us here and now, or we can drop you into a cell and let you wait it out.
You put me in a tank, and I'll be out in half an hour.
How many times have you been arrested?
Who says there was a first?
How many times?
You got the books. Look it up.
We asked you a question.
So I'm not a genius. I got trouble with addition.
Take everything out of your pockets.
What?
Come on.
For why?
Now, look, you're running out of funny time here, Kramer.
Then you better ring the bell, because I'll need more of it.
You got a job?
Yeah, I'm a president of a bank.
You're going way out on this, Kramer.
I like the scenery.
You work?
Yeah.
Where?
Round, no special place.
What do you do?
I'm a salesman.
What do you sell?
Whatever people can afford.
All right, now, come on. Put your things on the table right now.
You can sign a receipt?
They aren't going to be taken from you. We want to see what you're carrying.
Okay. You boys deserve a break, but I'll tell you now, the numbers on my phone book are mine. Don't go near them.
Come on, get it up.
Here's my wallet. Handkerchief, comb, nail clippers, some change. A couple of ticket stubs from a movie. A lousy picture. Cigarette lighter, that's it.
You got any money in that wallet?
Yeah.
How much?
I don't know. I don't pay much attention to how much I'm carrying.
You can't even come close to how much you got.
No.
Take it out and count it.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. Comes out to $3,700.
You must do real good at that salesman's job.
Company pays big commissions.
I put the money in your pocket.
Why don't you put it in yours?
What'd you say?
Look, cop, I've been around. I've been with most of the carnies in the country one time or another. I know the score. There ain't a place in the world that the fix can't be put in. Now, why don't you just take the money? You drop it in your pocket, and I'll forget I was ever in here. Won't be nobody hurt. The old guys may be out a couple of $100, but so what? He won't miss it. Why not put the fix and we'll both come out all right?
No, the fix just curdled, Kramer.
What?
You said we had the record. Well, you called it. We got all the word about you. Way down the line, you talk about how you worked with carnies. How long?
Huh?
What's the longest time you ever stayed with one outfit?
I like to move.
Yeah, sure you do. That's the way the people who run the show want it. Decent carny doesn't want a guy like you around. You or anybody like you. You've been on the road taking money away from people who can't afford it for a long time. Now we nail you and you come in here acting like a big man. You do the indignant bit, and then when that doesn't work, you try to buy your way out. Well, you've had it, mister. We know it, and your two buddies know it. When are you going to take a good look?
You really figure you've got it made, huh?
We know we have.
The other two guys really cop out?
The whole thing. All comes down to how you engineered it.
You buy what they say?
We buy it.
Uh-huh. Then there isn't much more for me to say, is there?
Not a great deal, no.
Okay, let's go.
How about a statement?
Why?
Make it easier on yourself.
Easier if I cop out?
You know what I mean.
Yeah. All right. Bring the girl in. I'll give you a statement.
Right.
Yeah.
You mind if I have a smoke?
What was that?
I said, you mind if I have a smoke?
No, go ahead.
Wild one, isn't it?
What?
Had it all down so pat. Good shover, better jug mouth, I'll sit in the front row with any wire in the business. All that, and it don't add up to a win.
Just like you said.
Huh?
You got trouble with addition.
Howard Nathan Kremer, Edward Francis Alcott, and Victor Frederick Leighton were tried and convicted on 6 counts of grand theft money and received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft money is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 10 years.
Dragnet is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
There's a lot of guys in L.A. who wear black suits. Ushers, waiters, floor walkers, and the crew down at the coroner's office. Petticini wore a black suit, but he didn't do any of those things. He had a different angle. I found that out the first time I saw him. A big guy with a lot of black hair and a pair of hands he could have rented out to a shovel company. It all started last Thursday in a one-arm joint on 6th Street. I was working on a cup of coffee that would have been Exhibit A for the Restaurant Commission when the skinny guy who runs the place got ambitious.
Hey, Bud. I'm going to get your coffee or bear claw, maybe, huh?
I'll chew on the coffee a while.
I made it myself. I got a special recipe. It's a secret.
Save it for the next war. We'll need some weapons.
Oh. Try to please the public, and what do you get? Nothing but talk. Everybody got to have an answer. I'm going to be a big man in this business someday, and I'm
Sure. Your phone's ringing. Maybe it's J.P. Morgan.
Well, your wise guy is something, huh?
So it's only a girl.
I ain't got one. If a girl ties you down, you can't get nowhere. It's bad business. Hello, you Bear Claw Coffee Shop, you who? I'll ask him. Hey, Bud, is your name Regan?
Who wants to know?
A guy named Lyon.
Hang up on him.
Bad business, hanging up on people. Here.
Okay. Yeah?
Oh, Jeffrey, I'm glad I finally located you. I know this is your day off.
I'm busy. So long.
Now, wait. Don't hang up. I wouldn't think of interfering with anything you have planned today. I just thought I might be able to help you relax, relieve the tension.
What's in it for you?
Oh, now, Jeffrey, I intend to watch the workouts at the Lacey Street Gym today, but I can't make it myself. Now, if you care to go, just use my name at the main gate, and they'll let you right in.
Who's the client?
Client? Client? I didn't say anything about a client. Of course, if you want someone to talk to, someone who knows the ins and outs of the fine, manly sport of boxing, there's a chap named Petticini. Be sure to look him up. Give him my best regards. Old friend, roomed together in college.
What college?
What college? Well, at the moment it escapes me.
So did I. So long.
Now, wait. No, the truth is, Jeffrey, I don't really know this Petticini guy at all. He retained us. But I thought you could enjoy yourself at the gym. Meet Petticini, talk to him, find out what he wants. Then the first thing tomorrow, you can start right in, show him the kind of service international.
That's bad business, you're hanging up on people.
Oh, shut up.
Every time I get hot into the collar, I always sit down and drink myself a cup of coffee. You want some?
I'm not that hot.
Oh. Is that going to be for you, that him calling back, huh?
Try hello. You'll pick it up from there.
Hey, where you going? What'll I say to him?
Try hello. You'll pick it up from there.
That's what you just said.
Yeah. I had my choice of talking to the Lion again or going straight out to the Lacey Street Gym and talking to a guy named Petticini. I already knew what the lion had to say. So I drove out Sunset past Alvarado, found it in the middle of the block. Big pile of cement that might have been a soundstage once. I drifted through the gate and started up the ramp. That's when a little guy wearing a hat he could have used for a smooth stuck out a hand.
Price of 50 cents. 50 cents to what?
I work for Anthony J. Lyon. He said to use his name.
All right, you used it. 4 bits.
You always this nice?
I won first prize this week.
You must have cheated.
Look, the name's Joey Arch. Used to fight bantamweight. Now, you're tempting me, and it'll be an assault with a deadly weapon if I hit you.
I'll wire for help.
Oh, cut it out. All the time answers.
Look, I came here to see a guy named Pediccini.
And Joey's making it tough for you, is that it?
Huh?
My name's Pediccini. You looking for me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lyon sent me.
You be Regan? Joey apologized, don't you, Joey?
Yeah, but this guy... Oh. Okay, Regan. Think I'm still fighting sometimes.
Thanks for coming. Look, I've been working out with the boys. I want to get out of these clothes and catch a shower. My office is upstairs. I'll be right up. Make yourself at home.
It wasn't much of an office. A couple of rooms with a connecting wastebasket. Figured Pediccini wasn't going to retire from what he made out of the boxing business. I was just finishing my cigarette when he walked in. This time he wasn't wearing the sweatsuit. He was wearing a black one. But he skipped the white carnation. I didn't figure to do much for that white collar he was wearing backwards. Father Pediccini?
Yes, that's right.
I didn't know you were a priest down there.
Well, you can't punch a bag wearing a cassock. You surprised, aren't you? I'm 38 years old, Regan, and I get surprised every day.
There's no other Pediccini around here.
No, I'm the one you're supposed to see.
Well, maybe the Lion didn't know you were a priest either.
Well, come to think of it, I may not have mentioned it when I phoned him.
I thought so. Well, Father, we'd be glad to help, but I'm not sure you have anything to be in our line.
This is in your line.
Oh? All right, Father, what can I do for you?
Find Davy Lang. Do you know him?
Middleweight?
Mm-hmm.
One who topped Al Shummer 2 nights ago.
That's him.
Gee, a guy like Davy'd be hard to lose.
Not so very. You know anything about him?
Well, I've seen him fight. He's a comer. Turned pro a couple of years ago, that's all.
I'll tell you the rest. He's got a good right hand, and he keeps in training. He's one of my boys, Regan, and I want him back.
Well, a guy like Davy can take care of himself.
Nobody can take care of himself. Davy's on parole, Regan. He made a mistake once.
And you don't want him to make another one?
He's due to report at the parole office before Saturday.
Well, what's he waiting for, an engraved invitation?
I don't know, Regan. I haven't talked to him lately.
Oh, he's disappeared.
Yeah.
They gave him a rule book when they let him loose. He knows what he's doing.
And you and I both know what it means if he antagonizes those people. It'd be rotten if they sent him back up. Rotten.
You can only do one job, Father.
I'll do a dozen if I have to. That's why I wear this collar. Have you got a light?
Yeah.
Thanks. You know, I was raised on this street, Regan. I've known a lot of guys like Davy Lang, kids who make little mistakes that turned into big mistakes.
You figure Davy Lang hasn't made that big one yet?
I figure David Lang isn't going to make that big one. That's why I sent for you, Regan. Here's a check. If it takes more, I'll get it.
No, thanks.
You won't help me?
Well, I didn't say that. When did he turn up missing, Father?
Right after his bout last Tuesday night. I'm his manager and trainer till he gets going. He dropped Al Shummer in the fourth. 10 minutes later, I went to his dressing room, and he was gone. I haven't seen him since.
Anybody else see him? Doorman, cab driver?
No. I thought he'd call me, but he hasn't. I've been over to his place 3 times, no answer.
What do his people say?
His parents dead. He lives alone at this address. Here. You've seen him in the ring. You know what he looks like.
Yeah. Does he have a girl?
I don't know.
Anything else that'd help?
Yes. Davy's a good boy.
I told you I'll do the job, Father.
You'll do it better if you believe in him.
Suppose it turned out different.
Suppose I tell you about a middleweight named Ignatius Loyola.
Look, nobody's going to put Davy's picture on a church window.
You don't have to be a saint to make the finals.
Even the Bible says sin's here to stay.
And that's why people like me will always have a job to do.
All right, Father. I'll let you know when I have something.
Thanks, Regan. Oh, Regan.
Yeah?
You didn't ask me why I didn't call in the police.
I didn't have to. Davy's not in violation until Saturday.
Crosby did it. I don't know why I couldn't.
I left him standing there blowing smoke rings. A kind of smile came on his face, like maybe he just got some inside dope and something real big. But I didn't feel like smiling. I climbed in my car and drove down to Missing Persons Bureau. They hadn't picked up anybody who looked like Davy Lang. Then I went through the dead and unclaimed records over at the city morgue. Nothing there. Lincoln Heights and City Jail, all the hospitals turned up the same. Nothing. It was after 7 when I got to the address Father Petticini had given me. A red brick apartment house in South Marathon. Davy's place was on the 2nd floor. I pulled out a ring of skeletons and won my letter on the 3rd key. I didn't expect to find anything. I was wrong. A blue suit with a scar across his face was standing in the middle of the room. It was dark in there, but I could still see that .45. Then I began to feel nervous, like a hula dancer in a forest fire.
All right, Nosy, close the door. Walk over to that wall. That's right. Okay. Now, tell me you're the landlord. Milkman? Friend of Davy's? That way, huh? Well,
Listen, Bus.
Don't you guys ever learn?
My knees folded like an army cot. I began to see pinwheels all over the place. He knelt down beside me and went through my pockets. I heard him grunt when he found my gun. Then he lit a match to read my billfold. He didn't like what he found there either.
Your name is Regan, and you're gum healing for Davy Lang. Who sent you?
Oh.
I ask you one question. Who sent you, Regan? Was it Mel Lawrence? Did she hire you? No. She'd have more brains than that. Ah, that priest, wasn't it? Davy ain't got no family. It was a sky pilot who hired you, wasn't it? Petticini. Yeah. Petticini. Why didn't I think of that, huh? Petticini.
It was a good show, but I didn't catch the last act. I did remember the advance publicity. Any kind of preview would tell you Davy Lang hadn't just run out on a priest and parole board. There was a lot more I had to find out, and it figured Father Petticini wasn't going to like the way it wound up. It was an ice age later. I rolled over and found out I had some legs. Then I found a bottle of scotch on top of the stove, and that helped a lot. I tugged on it while I went around the place. There were 3 suits and an empty suitcase in the closet, and some shirts and things in one of the drawers. Wherever Davy'd gone, he was traveling light. I was trying to fit in the guy with the scar when I remembered him talking about a girl named Mel Lawrence. I polished off the scotch and tried the telephone book. I was lucky. It said Mel Lawrence lived over on Melrose. I was still rocking on my heels when I rang her bell.
Bell?
When I saw that blonde hair, I began to feel better. She stood there and looked at me a while like I was breathing some air I shouldn't. And she turned halfway around and gave me a profile.
I wasn't expecting company, or I'd change clothes.
You got something better in there?
Do you like the way I wear my hair?
Fits your face.
How about my face? Do you like it?
It's nice.
I'm looking for a new boyfriend. Mine ran out on me. Come on in. I keep my scotch over there and my bourbon over there. I'm a model. I work 3 or 4 days a week, and the rest of the time, I don't have anything to do.
Well, if things are that good, why'd your boyfriend leave?
You tell me.
Maybe I can help.
Sure you can. Just put your arms around me and kiss me.
My name's not Davy.
Shut up and kiss me.
Well, that wasn't the trouble.
Now, tell me I'm pretty.
You're pretty.
Tell me you like me a lot.
I like you a lot.
Tell me you like to kiss me. Tell me that Davy used to tell me. Tell me all that, and then tell me why he didn't pick me up. Why'd he clear out? Where's he gone?
Sit down.
What's the matter with me? What have I got that other girls haven't got?
I said sit down.
You hit me.
It's time to talk sense.
Who are you anyway?
My name's Regan. I'm looking for Davy Lang.
What do you want with him?
Father Petticini hired me to find him.
Father Petticini. He wants to make sure Davy keeps his nose clean.
He didn't mention your name.
I never met him. Davy's told me a lot about him. Only Davy isn't around anymore to tell me about him now. Davy ran out on him. He ran out on me.
Maybe he didn't.
Oh, yes, he did. When Davy goes someplace, he just goes. That's all. You aren't going to find him.
A blue suit with a .45 and a scar said different.
I met him
I
tonight.
met him tonight over at Davy's place. You know Davy's playmates. Who is he?
I don't know a man with a scar.
Who is he?
I don't know.
You aren't helping Davy.
I'm not Pedicini. I couldn't help anyone. Go on, Regan. Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't feel very good. I don't feel very good at all.
Well, I knew she had some more to say, but I knew she wasn't going to say it then. So I left her sitting there and got in my car and drove home. I wanted to think. I wanted to get one good reason that said Davy Lang wasn't playing on the wrong team. When the lion's around, you don't do any thinking. The lion was around.
Jeffrey, I'm glad you got home. I wanted to talk to you about Pedicini. He's a priest, isn't he?
Yeah, why?
Run any expenses yet?
No.
Good, then we'll drop it. I'll phone him first thing in the morning, recommend another agency. I've been thinking...
You've been thinking wrong. We're staying with this one.
Now, see here. I'm the president of International Detective Bureau, and I can't collect a bonus from a member of the clergy. It wouldn't seem right.
You better not try.
Oh, I wouldn't. Those men take the vow of poverty. But we haven't taken any vow of poverty, and the agency has expenses.
Now, get this. We're hard to find Davy Lang, and we're going to find him.
Why? Why should we?
Because everything doesn't add up to a $sign.
No? What does?
A priest named Pedicini. A guy named Davy Lang who's got a date with a parole.
Now, wait a minute, Regan, wait. You've been touched by this thing.
Get out of here.
There's something in all this has got to you. The humanity of the thing. Oh, I can see it now, Regan. Your picture on the front page. Me standing beside you. Brotherhood.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, don't shout. The agency held up the public acclaim. Perhaps the paper starts a fund to repay us for our humble efforts.
Out.
Jeffrey, I haven't finished. You can't shove me out the door that way. Jeffrey, let me in. What's the meaning of this?
But I didn't tell him. I was thinking of Davy Lang in a blue suit with a scar, and Father Pedicini in a blonde who had a lot of tears. It was all out of focus, like a 10-cent movie. Blue suit sounded like he knew Davy, but I didn't like the way he'd said it. I was trying to figure why Davy'd run, and that's when I got on the phone and checked a bookmaker I know on Main Street.
Hiya, baby. What's up?
Davy Lang, Al Shummer bout last Tuesday.
Lang bounced him in the fourth.
Well, how did it figure before the fight?
Let's see. Lang was favored. Plenty of 8 to 5 around town.
More than usual?
Yeah. It's a real coarse coin on that one. Anything wrong, baby?
Yeah.
What?
It came out right.
Huh? Hey, I don't get it.
Neither do I. No, I won't throw that one away. But an hour later, it started to work through. Figured that Al Shummer, the other fighter, might be able to fill in some bald spots. I got his address from the Times Sports Desk and went down to his hotel, a place on Soda Street. But Al Shummer was through answering questions. He was lying on the floor when I got there. A knife the size of a baseball bat was sticking out the front of him. And he had company. Father Pedicini, picking up where that knife left off.
You'd better phone the police, Regan.
Who did it? When did it happen?
Regan, just call the police, that's all. All right, I'll do it.
But, Father...
I know enough law for this one, Regan. I'm suspect number 1.
This is CBS, and you are listening to the story of the Man in Black. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Now, here's a special word for those of you who are interested in setting up a retirement fund. One that will permit you to have some of the good things of life before you're too old to enjoy them. I'll give you her name later. Are you satisfied with what you've been able to save so far? It's not easy to save these days, but here's a way you can do it. Start now and save before you spend by putting your savings on an automatic basis. Join the payroll savings plan where you work and invest in United States savings bonds. Under this plan, your firm sets aside whatever sum you name from each paycheck and uses the money to buy savings bonds for you. And the bonds keep growing in value, paying you back $4 for every 3 you save in just 10 years. Buy United States bonds. An investment in bonds is an investment in the future of your country. Buy United States bonds and keep them. And now back to tonight's story of the Man in Black and Jeff Regan, Investigator? Had to do that.
When I walked in that hotel room and found Father Pedicini standing over what was left of Al Shummer, It didn't take 20/20 vision to see Davy Lang was running hard. And Pediccini was blocking for him. Well, I phoned homicide, and they showed up 10 minutes later. Sanducci was handling it. He changed 8 shades when he saw who he had to ask questions. But Sanducci's a cop. Took him 13 years to get that double-breasted suit. And he started in.
All right, all of you. Clear out. Beat it. We'll dress it up later. Well, Father, you know what I got to do?
We all have our jobs, Lieutenant.
I'm going to ask you first, Regan.
Well, I came over to see Al Shummer.
And he found me beside the body. I was administering extreme unction.
He was still alive?
I wasn't sure, in a case like
yes,
that.
I know, Father. What business you got with Al Shummer?
He called me, asked me to come.
Why?
I don't know. I found him this way.
Regan, how about you?
Oh, I wanted to talk to him.
About what?
Fight.
A fight, huh? That's all there is to it. Tu sei un grande bugiardo.
I speak Italian, too. Se tu vuoi sapere qualunque, allora domanda a me.
Se tu domande, non sono esauriente.
Provatemi.
Padre, io ci ho una missione e lo devo fare. Regan, io ti domando un'altra volta. Look, once more, Regan. Tell me why you want to see Shummer.
Regan works for me. Ask me the question.
All right, I ask you.
Not here. Down at headquarters, Lieutenant.
Headquarters? You want me to arrest you?
Regan found me in a room with a murdered man. That's enough to take me down for.
But all right, Father. I take you into custody.
And Regan, you know what you have to do?
I know, Father.
Well, let's get busy.
Father?
Yes.
I've made 1,000 arrests in my day. I've taken them in for everything. You sure you want me to do this?
Like you said, we all have our jobs to do.
When he said that, he was looking right at me. And I began to get a helpless feeling, like a butterfly in a wind tunnel. Well, when we got downtown, Sanducci waved a hand at the prowl car and had the driver turn into the garage instead of going in the front way. Then he climbed out and talked to some uniform standing in the office. They came over and got Father Pediccini. As soon as they were out of sight, Sanducci turned to me.
All my life I've been a cop, Regan. All the time I play it one way. I ask and they talk. If they don't, I lock them up till they do. Tonight I play it different.
You didn't ask any favors.
Those guys are taking him up to my office. No newspaper guys or anybody else is going to know he's in there.
Then what?
I won't ask him anything, and neither will anybody else around here. Right now.
What about tomorrow?
I'm off duty then. Before I leave, I have to ask him something.
He won't tell you.
This is homicide. Who's they covering for, Regan? He's counting on you to turn up something. You find what he wants, Regan. You find it fast and you find it alone. You got 3 hours to do whatever it is. And the morning squad comes in. They like reports, and you can't stop reports. Now, Regan.
Yeah?
No falla manganza.
What does that mean?
You better not make a mistake.
Sanducci was bending over backwards to give me time. 3 hours to find Davy Lang. That meant I had to forget the routine stuff and try other ways. I got to Melrose as fast as I could. It took her 5 minutes to answer the door. She didn't look happy.
What are you doing back here?
I forgot my homework.
Say, you can't.
I just did.
Why,
Now, look, lady, we can pass up the preliminaries, get to the main event.
You...
I want information. I want it fast. Where's Davy?
I don't know. I lost my head and told you too much when you were here before.
Where's Davy?
You're hurting my arm.
I'll break it if I have to. If you love him, tell me where he is.
I don't know. Really, I don't. It's just like I told you.
Come on.
All right. I was afraid.
Talk.
Davy told me he meant to throw that fight with Al Shummer Tuesday night. That he'd make a lot of money doing it. That we'd go away and get married, maybe. That's all I know.
That isn't enough. The odds were with Davy. He won.
Well, then ask Al Shummer what happened.
He's all used up. Somebody stuck a knife in him tonight.
What?
And homicide's holding the priest.
Father Pediccini?
You know why?
I don't.
Because he thinks Davy boy is still number one on the good parade. Now, you and I know different. Now, tell me the real setup.
I can't. I don't know.
Then I'll tell you. Davy was going to throw that fight. Then he found someone who'd pay him more to play it the other way. So we got together with Shummer. Shummer laid down on the fourth. Davy walked out on you and everybody.
Maybe he did. But he didn't kill Shummer.
I think he did. Shummer was going to talk.
Davy wouldn't kill a man. He's not bad.
I heard that before.
But he's not bad.
He didn't show up for you, did he?
No, but...
He double-crossed Petticini by fixing a fight. Then he doubled back, didn't throw the fight. He was probably trying to double on Shummer tonight when he stuffed that shiv in his ribs.
No, that's not Davy. Not Davy at all.
No, lady. No, that's not Davy. Of course not. Davy's a real good boy. Well, I thought I had most of it when I left there. You'd figured David got a bright idea somewhere along the line and bet on himself to win. That meant he had to make a deal with Al Shummer. Only Shummer wasn't around to talk about it anymore. I figured if I walked into the station and gave that much to Petticini, he'd let Homicide handle it from there. But I was wrong.
Regan, did you find him?
No.
Something's happened to him.
He's blown town.
I can't believe that.
Father, he was fixing a fight right under your nose.
Davy?
He was going to take a dive, but he didn't.
And Shummer, was he in on it?
Well, they must have tussled over the payoff.
What else?
Well, he's rattled on everybody he knows, including his girlfriend.
We haven't heard Davy's story.
He couldn't write one good enough.
Isn't it that late?
Father, you can call in Sanducci right now. You can tell him what I've told you.
They send out a pickup on Davy.
You'll have to sooner or later.
And what about the parole board?
He's broken that. Shummer's dead.
We don't know if he did that.
Who else?
It doesn't fit Davy.
All the rest of it does.
That can be cleared up.
You take a lot of convincing.
You're a detective, Regan. You always come up with facts. All I've got is faith.
In him?
I can't believe he'd kill a man.
I'll get Sanducci.
All right, Regan. All right.
Hey, Sergeant, You want...
Through, Regan?
Yeah. Where's Sanducci?
In his office. I'll call him for you. Okay, mouthpiece. Right in there. Pardon me, please. Who the hell are these people?
Sure,
All right, I've stopped the watch. Where is... Come on. Jack, up on mic, boy.
Who's the one? Page 28.
Bottom of 27. Let's get on mic. We're recording it,
Yeah.
huh?
Come on, let's go. Bottom of 27. Pardon me, please. Sure, Sarge.
Yeah?
Never mind calling.
Suit yourself, Regan.
When did Father Petticini send for a mouthpiece?
He didn't. The guy just showed up, said he was a lawyer, wanted to see him. Why? I don't know. All right to send him in, wasn't it?
I didn't answer that because the guy who'd passed me in the hall had his coat collar turned up. The glasses made it look good. But if he was a lawyer, he'd gone through law school in one day. I waited around outside. He wasn't in there long. 10 minutes later, he brushed out the door. I was waiting for him at the corner. Hello, Davy. How's murder these days? Easy, kid. This is a gun.
You're no cop.
I don't know what you told him in there, but I don't listen easy.
Oh. You must be Regan. You've been looking for me.
Yeah. You slip around fast.
That gun doesn't make you look that good.
I saw the guy with the shiv in him. You might have used the same line on him.
Father Petticini told me how you figured it. I can't blame you. I know it must have looked that way.
You got something different?
I'll tell it to you. I don't expect you to believe it.
Did he believe it?
About me fixing up the fight? That's right. I was going to lay down for $2,000.
But you didn't. Who offered you $4?
I deserve that. But you got it wrong.
Tell me how.
I was up there in the ring sparring with him. It was one of those crazy things. I wanted to make it look good, and... well, Shummer's got a glass jaw. One connected, and he went down for the count.
Sounds like a fairy tale.
I told you it wouldn't be easy. I had to run after the fight. Denton doesn't like things not to work out. When Shummer went down, the guy who was paying me lost a pile of dough.
Wait a minute. The guy who was paying you...
Toby Denton.
A guy with a scar.
Yeah. He's after me.
Yeah. Yeah, he sure is.
What's the matter?
Well, my arithmetic's lousy. When I added this thing up, I put you in, but I left the scar out.
What's that mean?
It figured you killed Shummer to stop him from talking.
I didn't. I can't prove it, but I didn't.
Well, whoever did called the Padre to come over there. The guy who killed Shummer wanted the Padre taken in.
Why? Why would he want
Because he knew hooking the Padre was a sure way to smoke you out of hiding. It was all a setup to get you.
Toby Denton.
Yeah. Toby Denton.
You figured it smart, people, but you got there too late.
What? It was Denton. He was still wearing the blue suit and the scar. But this time he had help, a muscle in a trench coat. They were both carrying heavy artillery.
Been waiting 10 minutes for you two to finish up. French?
Yeah.
We'll just have to take Regan along with us.
All right, straight ahead.
Wait a minute, Toby. Regan had nothing to do with this. I'm the guy you want.
Don't worry, we'll take good care of him. Me and Regan met once, didn't we, Peter? How do you feel, Regan?
Better than you will when they strap you down in that gas chamber, Tony. Toby.
You hear that, Trench?
Hey, come on, Toby, let's move.
We'll stay right here, Toby.
Move.
You know I can hardly handle myself. Gun butt wouldn't get me to. You'll have to shoot. There's a cop station half a block away. Leave Regan, I'll go with you.
I always wanted to plug somebody right outside a cop station.
Kid was fast. He went after Toby with all he had. I got busy with the tall guy in the trench coat. He wasn't fast, but he was big, and he kept me busy. I landed a lucky kick that turned him green in a second, and after that it was easy. I turned around to give the kid a hand, but I was a second too late.
Regan!
Davey took them both in his chest. That's when Toby spun around and tried for me, but this time he was too late. Lie still, kid. I'll get a doctor.
Regan, I've done everything wrong. I didn't want him to get you, too.
Don't talk. You made up for it all.
I'm not bad. All the way?
No. Like the Padre always said. You're a good boy. Well, the ambulance got him to emergency hospital, and they went to work on him. I waited around with Father Petticini all night until a nurse walked out and said that they were going to have to give Davy some transfusions, but he'd live. Then I got over to headquarters and explained the whole thing to Sanducci. He said it didn't make sense, but when I got Father Petticini on the phone, they talked it over in Italian, and Sanducci seemed satisfied. So it was about 10 in the morning when I dropped in on the Lion on the way home. He was stretched out on a couch in his office. It was sagging in the middle. So was the Lion.
Oh, Jeffrey, don't disturb me. I'm ill, Jeffrey, ill.
Now what's the matter with you?
Oh, it's that man Petticini. He's a fiend, Jeffrey. Man's got an uncanny power. It isn't that.
Wait a minute. Where did you see Petticini?
At the hospital, of course. I checked with headquarters and found out what had happened, so I just thought I'd go over there.
You mean you took his money after all?
Took his money? Are you being funny? I walked in, the first thing I knew, he'd Sven-Gollied me into the operating room.
The operating room?
Yeah, I'm a type O, Jeffrey. Me, the same blood type as Davy Lang. And you think you made this thing turn out right. Well, what are you grinning about? I don't see anything funny.
You wouldn't. But cheer up, Fatso.
Why? Why should I?
The hospital pays $25 for a pint of blood. You may get something out of this yet.
CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet is brought to you by Chesterfield, made by Liggett & Myers, first major tobacco company to give you a complete line of quality cigarettes.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A gang has hijacked and robbed a bank truck. They've stolen over $100,000. There's no lead to their identity. Your job? Get them. During this holiday season, young America, all of us, will be concentrating on our favorite winter sports. Ice skating, bowling, basketball, skiing. One thing you'll notice, whatever young America does, wherever it goes, Chesterfield goes along. Yes, Chesterfield is the choice of young America. Chesterfield is the choice of more thousands of smokers everywhere. People are learning the facts about Chesterfield, learning that Chesterfield is highest in quality, low in nicotine, learning that Chesterfield is really mild, really satisfying. So how about it, friends? Change to Chesterfield yourself. Smoke America's most popular two-way cigarette. Regular and king-size Chesterfield. Best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, June 5th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the business office, and it was 10:52 p.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery.
Did you get him?
Yeah, here's the gun.
You got the double-aught buck?
Yeah, Jack. Here you go. Any word yet?
No, we ought to be hearing pretty quick.
Nothing from Herman and Benson, huh?
Last we got from them, they were over on Hobart.
No action there?
Nothing.
I get it. Robbery Friday. Yes, ma'am. That's right. Well, when was this? No. No, that's a burglary. If you'll hold on just a minute, I'll have you switch them. Yes, ma'am. Hold on just 1 minute. Would you give this call to 2524, please? That's right, burglary. Thank you. Woman who wants somebody to come out and talk to her about her husband's work pants being taken from the clothesline.
You should have gone out.
Yeah. You got a cigarette? I'm fresh out.
Here you are. Got a match?
Yeah, thanks.
Well, you might as well sit down, take it easy. You got no idea how long we're going to be here.
Guess so. You know, I'm still not real sure about how this tip came in. You want to fill me in?
Call came through this afternoon. Man refused to give his name, just said he had some information he thought we'd like to have.
No idea who it was, huh?
No. Said it wasn't important. Went on to say that he could tell us where to pick up the men who held up the bank truck.
Well,
I figured it might be a crank, so I asked him how we could be sure the story was true.
How'd he answer that?
Said he could prove it. Said he had some of the serial numbers on the stolen bills.
You check out?
Yep. Gave me the numbers from 10 to the 20s. I checked the serial numbers. They're good.
And that's when he said he'd call back, huh?
Yeah, said he'd call tonight around 10 and give us the address where we could pick up the men.
It's late now, about an hour. Huh?
Yeah. But he knows what he's talking about. We got to be here when the phone rings.
No way of getting an ID on him, huh?
None.
What did he say about the men? They heavy?
From the way he tells it, they're loaded. Got all the guns and ammunition they need to hold out for a week.
He knows that. Why couldn't he give us the address this afternoon?
He said he wanted to put a lot of distance between him and the rest of them.
See how many there were?
Not right out. The way he talked, though, we figure there are 3.
Any names?
No, said he'd tell us where to pick them up. Said when we blew the whistle, they'd tell us.
I'd be a little tight taking then, huh?
If the way they handle the guards on the truck is any indication, it isn't going to be a picnic.
How many men we got?
Herman and Benson, we can call them in. Murph and Rafferty, Stewart and Creasy.
Where are they now?
Well, I saw Murph and Raff down at the business office just a minute ago. Said they'd be right in. I get it. Robbery Friday. Yes, it is. Where? Yeah, put him through. Call from San Francisco. Operator says station to station.
Might be our boy.
Huh, you'd have to fly up north to get here this fast.
Airlines don't ask for recommendations when they sell a ticket.
Wait just a minute. This Friday. Who's this? Okay, if that's the way you want it. Yeah. Give me that address. All right, let me read that back to you. 1657 Garfield Place, apartment 408. Is that right? Okay. Why don't you tell us your name? It won't do any... Hello. Hello. I hung up.
I'll have the business office get on it, see if they can come up with a number. You got the address?
Yeah, I got that. Here. The way he put it, job might be tougher than we figured.
What do you mean?
Well, I asked him his name. I told him it wouldn't make any difference if he told us.
Yeah?
He said make a lot of difference. Said they'd kill him if they found out that he faked on them.
That figures.
Yeah. Said that when he reads in the papers that they're dead, then he'll come in.
When they're dead?
Yeah. Says we won't take them alive. 10 days previously, on Thursday, May 26th, 3 men had stopped an armored truck on its way to the Federal Reserve Bank. The truck had stopped for collection on Wilshire Boulevard. The 3 hold-up men had approached the truck and produced sawed-off 12-gauge shotguns. At gunpoint, 2 of the men forced the drivers to go out to the San Fernando Valley. The third followed in another car. On a side road south of Ventura Boulevard, the suspects had tied and then beaten the driver and the guard. The 2 men were placed in the back of the truck, and after stealing all of the cash in the vehicle, the thieves had driven off. As soon as the theft was discovered, men from the Federal Bureau of Investigation were notified. Together with them, Frank and I followed down every lead. The crime lab went over the truck but found nothing that would help us in getting to the thieves. Latent fingerprints were able to come up with nothing. The driver of the truck and the guard had been shown the mug books, but they were unable to make an identification. The method of operation was checked through the stats office, but when the leads that developed were checked out, we were in the same position as when we first got the call. We had no idea who the thieves might be. Descriptions obtained from the two victims were broadcast to the entire nation, but there were no kickbacks. The FBI weighed and sifted all evidence in its Washington headquarters, but they came up with the same results we had. Nothing. The phone call from the informant was the first concrete lead that we'd gotten. There were 9 men from Robbery Division and 3 teams from the FBI in the operation. From the information we had, we knew the suspects were armed and they were dangerous. The people in the building were gotten out of their apartments. The building itself was completely surrounded. 1:36 a.m. We moved in.
Boys in the street are set. Let's go.
All right. Did you check the manager?
Yep. Descriptions of the men in the apartment match the one we got from the driver of the truck. Checks out to be the same guy.
The manager say how many there were?
3. She's not sure they're all in.
All right.
Sounds like somebody's moving around in there.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Police officer, stand still.
What are you doing in here?
You here alone?
Yeah, alone. What are you looking for, convention?
Where are the other 2?
What 2? Nobody else, Joe.
Closet over there looks like an arsenal. Loaded with guns. A couple of sawed-off shotguns.
You guys got no right to come in here like this. I don't know what you're looking for, but you ain't going to find
What's
it.
your name?
Hank Peterson.
You rent this apartment with 2 other guys. Manager tells us that they're Harvey Fitzgerald and Lou Colton. Is that right?
Yeah, they live here.
Where are they now?
I don't know. Out. Maybe to a movie. I don't know.
When do you expect them back?
Well, look, they're big fellas now. They don't have to get me to sign a report card. They do what they want. They went out. I don't know where. They didn't tell me. They also didn't tell me when they'd be back. Well, what's this all about?
Where'd you get those guns in the closet?
They don't belong to me.
Who do they belong to?
One of the guys.
Which one?
Why are you coming in here and asking all these questions? I ain't done nothing. You got no beef with me. I don't know anything about the guns. Maybe Lou likes to hunt. I don't know.
They belong to Colton, huh?
Yeah, he brought them.
You don't know where he is now?
I told you. If I knew where he was, I'd tell you. I don't want any trouble. I don't like to have people pointing guns at me. Would you put that one away?
Turn around.
What?
I said turn around. Get over to the wall. Put your hands up on it.
Big deal. What happens now? You kick my feet out and I fall down?
Stand still.
I'll get it, Joe.
You ain't gonna find nothing on me. I tell you I'm clean.
Nice try, Peterson. Here's a 38 Colt. Joe had it in his belt.
You go around pretty heavy for a fellow that doesn't want trouble, don't you?
I carry a lot of money. Sometimes I think some guys are trying to take it away from me. I got to protect myself. Yeah. Anybody's got the right to protect himself.
Yeah, you got a permit for this gun?
No, I didn't get around to it yet. I'm going to, though, right away. I'll get one. You know how it is. You mean to do something, but you forget. Hey, can I stand up straight now?
Yeah.
Come on, Peterson. Get your hands behind you.
Maybe you guys will tell me what this is for. What are you looking for?
We'll tell you downtown.
Well, you know you're making a big mistake.
Is that right?
Well, sure, you really call this one wrong. You're dragging in an innocent man. I'm clean. I made a mistake when I didn't register the gun. I'll cop to that, but that's the edge. I don't go past there.
No, you got it wrong, Peterson.
Read me how.
We got you going in for the bank truck robbery. You and your 2 friends, you're going to stand for it.
Keep talking about my 2 friends. I got no friends. I move in with a couple of fellas. All of a sudden, I got a piece of some action they're shoving. You got it wrong, cop.
You ain't going to tell us you happen to be here at the wrong time, are you?
Look, I'm from Chicago. I got a lead on a job out here. It gets cold in Chicago in the wintertime. I don't like the cold. Get a lead on a job out here in California, so I put an ad in the paper and tell them how I'd like to drive out with the guy, share expenses. The fellow that answers the ad wants to leave when I got to go is Lou Colton. I took a third of the tab driving out. We got into town. He's got this apartment lined up, this one right here. I got no place to stay, so he says for me to pad down with him. That's it. The beginning, the middle, the end. Anything outside of that, I don't know. If you got trouble with Lou, then take it up with him, but don't make me fit in. I got no part of the action. I don't want any.
What about the gun?
Hmm?
The gun you had on you.
I tried to explain that. I meant to get a permit for it. I didn't get around to it yet.
What about the ones in the closet?
Well, talk to Lou. They belong to him. Maybe he's going to open a museum.
All right. Let's get out of here.
Come on, let's go.
Look what you did to the door, breaking it up like that. No reason. All you had to do was knock. Landlady's going to be pretty sore about it. I'd have let you in if you'd have knocked. Breaking up a door like that, she's going to be real sore. Probably won't talk to me.
Well, it's going to be a while before she's got the chance. While Frank and I took Henry Peterson downtown, the other officers from robbery maintained the surveillance on the apartment. Because of the construction of the building, it was impossible to wait inside of the room. However, all of the entrances were covered. 2:40 a.m. We checked the suspect through R&I, but we found that he had no record in Los Angeles. His fingerprints were taken and forwarded to Washington for checking. He was printed and mugged and then placed in a cell in the felony section at the main jail. The rest of that night, the watch on the apartment continued without results. The following morning, Frank and I met with Lieutenant Smyers at a special show-off of the suspect for the driver and the guard of the armored car. Without hesitation, they both stated positively that Peterson was one of the men who'd held them up. The kickback arrived from Washington with the information that Peterson was wanted for escape from the state penitentiary in New Jersey. He'd been convicted on a charge of murder and robbery and given a life sentence. The record showed that he'd escaped from the prison on Friday, May 9th, 2 weeks before the truck had been robbed. 4:15 p.m. We had him brought from his cell, and Frank and I talked to him in the interrogation room at the main jail.
You got a cigarette?
Yeah. Here.
Thanks.
Here's a match.
What do we got going?
Same thing. We want to know about the robbery of that armored car.
You figure there's something I could tell you on it, huh?
We wouldn't be here otherwise.
I'll make you a deal.
We don't make them.
No, hear me out. You might go for this.
We can't promise you anything.
You're asking me to come over to your side. Seems like you'd be willing to come a little closer to the line.
What do you got to say?
How bad you got me nailed?
As deep as it can go.
For real?
That's right.
Well, lay it out.
All of it?
Yeah.
We got the kickback from Washington. We know you're wanted for escape. We checked the guns from the apartment. Found out they were taken in a burglary in Chicago Tuesday, May 13th.
Go ahead.
We checked with the Chicago papers. The ad you told us about asking for a ride out here, it was never run.
You guys are sure thorough.
The victims of the robbery identified your picture.
They sure?
They're sure.
No chance for a mistake?
No chance.
If I cop out, where am I going to do the time?
We don't decide that.
You think they'll send me back to Jersey?
I told you we got no say in that.
It's so cold back there. It's nice here in California. I'd like to stay here. Nothing you guys can do so I can take the fall in Quentin, huh?
Nothing.
Anyway, you hear it, I'm nailed, huh?
That's right.
Okay. Maybe it's marked down that I copped out. They'll let me stay in California.
It'll be put down that way.
Okay. Where do you want me to start?
Try the beginning.
Good a place as any.
You were with the holdup, huh?
Yeah.
How about the other two?
You picked them up yet?
No. They haven't come back to the apartment.
Might be good if they didn't.
What do you come up with that?
Heavy, real heavy.
What are their names?
Luke Colton, Harvey Fitzgerald.
Those are the names in the mailbox. Are they real?
As far as I know.
You aren't sure, huh?
No. Part of what I told you is true. I broke out of a jail in Jersey, then beat it to Chicago. Laid around for a couple of days, then started to look for some action. I was broke. I needed a score to set me up. Sitting in a bar down on State Street one night, and I met Lou and Harvey. They tipped me to the job out here.
You mean they came all the way out here to pull the one job?
Yeah. They got a rumble about how it'd be a cinch. Came out to run it off. Then they figured on going back, leaving you cops with nothing.
When were they figuring on leaving?
I don't know. This was their part of the deal. I told them going in I wanted to stay out here. Didn't make any difference to them. We all figured that if we cut up a $100,000 score, none of us was going to look bad. For all I know, they might be on the way back now.
Their clothes were still in the apartment.
You know how many suits you can buy with a third of $100,000?
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, after the job, we made the split. Talked it over and decided to dig in for a few days and then take off. At least they decided to leave. Didn't say when. I told you now they might be on the way back now.
Who else knows you're in on the job?
Huh?
Outside of you three, Colton, Fitzgerald, who else knows about it?
Isn't anybody.
Well, where's your part of the money?
Got it down the bus depot. Got it in the locker down there.
How long's it been there?
Since day before yesterday. How often do they clean out them lockers?
Every 24 hours.
Well, then there's $33,000 floating around in the check room.
You got the key to the locker?
Yeah.
Where is it?
In my shoe. I got it taped with the sole inside.
You want to give it to us?
Well, no, but I don't guess there's any other way.
No.
Okay.
You spend any of the money?
You mean the stuff we stole?
That's right.
No, not a dime. Why do you ask that?
Who else might know the serial numbers on the bills?
Well, nobody. Nobody but us, and I guess the guys at the bank, they got a record of them, I guess.
How about Colton and Fitzgerald? They spend any of their part?
I don't know. You got to ask them that.
The car you drove out after the armored truck, who'd that belong to?
Colton. It's the one we drove out here in.
What kind of car is it?
Plymouth, 1952.
What model?
Sedan.
Color?
Light blue.
You know the license number?
No, I never paid any attention to it.
What state's it out of?
Illinois.
Who drove the car when you went on the holdup?
Harvey.
Fitzgerald, huh?
Yeah, he drove the car, and Lou and I went in the truck.
Either of them been arrested before?
I'm not sure, but I think Lou fell in New York. I'm not sure, though.
How about Fitzgerald?
No. At least he never said anything about it. Only way I knew about Lou is that he talked about the food in Sing Sing. That's the way I knew about him.
You know what he fell for?
Armed robbery, I think, and there was a kidnap rap, too, but he beat it.
He out clean?
I don't know.
Seems like you planned a job with two guys that you didn't know very well, doesn't it?
I was hungry and I was cold. I wasn't about to ask for a life story when they offered me a part of the action.
How'd they pick you?
I told you, I was in a bar on State. Lou and Harvey came in. Both of them were carrying a load. I was sitting there drinking beer, just the three of us in the place, and Lou was drinking pretty heavy. He gets in a beef with the barkeep, and I saw the roll he was carrying, so I figured that if I could take his side in the brawl, maybe I could make a touch. We walked out of the bar, and he offered to buy me a meal. Next thing I know, I'm on the way to California. I'm a partner in a piece of goods that looks safe.
All that time in the car, and you didn't find out anything about your two partners?
We drove straight through. Well, we weren't driving, we were sleeping. Anyway, I wasn't a solid member of the club. I wasn't about to get my nose mashed in for having it someplace where it didn't belong. I figured if they wanted me to know something, they'd tell me.
You go with them for the guns?
No. They already got those when I fell in.
You knew they were stolen?
Guys turn up with that kind of muscle and can't come from anywhere else. Sure, I knew it was stolen.
Colton and Fitzgerald have any friends out here?
No, not in L.A.
Anywhere on the coast?
Well, I hear Lou's got some people up north.
Where?
Maybe San Francisco, Marin County, I don't know. Might even be Oakland. Somewhere around the Bay Area.
They say anything about going up there?
No. Of course, they might have. The way Lou likes to eat, coming out here, he'd go 10 miles out of the way because he knew a place that had a good chili size. Think nothing of it. Never saw anybody who liked to eat so much. Real gourmet. Only with him, it was glutton.
He mentioned any names of people he knew up north?
No, just said he had people.
Anything about the car they're driving that'd make it easy to spot?
What do you mean?
Well, like a dented fender, a scratch, anything to identify it.
Yeah, it might be something. There's a kind of scratch in the back left fender, I think. Woman backed into us on the way out here. Cut right through the metal.
You think of any reason why they might ditch the car?
No. We kept a close tab on the papers right after the job and looked to see how much you had on it. When we didn't see anything, we figured the car was all right. I don't think they'd ditch it. It'd be pretty easy to trace. Lou owns it outright. Unless you want to try to grab cold plates, he'd drive it like it was.
Okay. We'll get you your things, and you can come over to the city hall and make a statement. How about the key to the locker?
Oh, yeah. There it is. Probably some money due on the package I'll have to owe you.
We'll take care of it.
Too bad, isn't it?
What's that?
$33,000. I haven't got the dough to bail out the package.
Well, it works out even.
What?
We'd have no place to spend it. An immediate APB was gotten off carrying the names and descriptions of the two suspects. Also a description of the car. A radiogram was sent to DMV at Illinois, requesting the license and description of any car registered to a Lewis Colton. While Eleanor Eastlack took Peterson's statement, Frank got in touch with the telephone company. They'd finished checking the phone call we'd gotten from San Francisco, but the information they gave led us no farther toward apprehending the suspects. The call had been made from a pay booth in the ferry terminal building. We got in touch with the FBI and filled them in on the developments. As a result of Peterson's statement, the number of men maintaining the surveillance at the apartment on Garfield Place was cut to one team working days and one team working the night watch. We put a call in to San Francisco and talked to Chief of Inspectors James English. We filled him in on what had happened. He assigned Inspectors Sutton and Zimmerman to work with us on the case. 5:46 p.m. We checked out a trip car and we left for San Francisco. It took us a little under 10 hours to drive the 405 miles between the two cities. At 4:03 a.m., we stopped in Oakland and put in a call to the San Francisco Police Department. How much? Yeah, just a minute. Frank, you got a quarter?
Yeah.
Thanks. Here you are. 264, please. Hello, this is Joe Friday. Yeah. You got a message there for me from Charlie Sutton or Jules Zimmerman? Yeah. No, we just got in. Yeah. Oakland. What? Just a minute. You see that street sign up there?
Yeah, wait a minute. 5th and Poplar.
5th and Poplar. Yeah. No, we're coming right over. When was this? I see. Well, if Charlie calls in, tell him that we're on the way, will you? Right. Thank you. Well, we're almost too late.
What do you mean? They got a lead?
Sutton and Zimmerman called in 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
They got the car waiting for the suspects now.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
There are good reasons why thousands of people are changing to Chesterfield every day. Why Chesterfield is the largest selling two-way cigarette in America. Why Chesterfield is best for me and best for you. To sell a product, you have to make it good and keep it good. What do the latest reports show about Chesterfield? Well, our research laboratory has compared it with the leading cigarettes in the country. Chesterfield is highest in quality, low in nicotine. People these days want facts. When you want people to use your product, you have to tell them what effect it has on people who do use it regularly. That's why a doctor has examined for almost 2 years a large group of Chesterfield smokers. 45% of them have, on the average, been smoking Chesterfields for well over 10 years. What is the effect on these people from smoking Chesterfield? No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses, says the doctor, from smoking Chesterfield. Consider Chesterfield's record with those smokers, with millions of other smokers throughout America. Another good reason for you to change to Chesterfield. Regular or king size, Chesterfield is best for me and best for you.
The address the business office had given me on the phone was a large garage located at the corner of Union Avenue and Lynch Streets. When Frank and I got there, we met with Inspectors Sutton and Zimmerman. They told us that when they'd gotten the APB, a call had gone out immediately to the officers in the city to be on the lookout for a 1952 blue Plymouth with a dent in the left rear fender and carrying Illinois license plates. The suspects had parked the car in a no-parking zone on O'Farrell Street between Taylor and Mason Streets. At the peak hour of traffic, the car had been towed away from the parking place and left in a garage. While it was in the garage, the information on it had been received from our department, and an immediate stakeout was placed on it. We felt reasonably sure that the suspects would return for the automobile. They had no reason to think that there might be anything wrong. The address of the garage had been left so that they might find the car. All that would be necessary to release it would be the payment of the fine for overtime parking along with the towing and garage fee. The garage itself was a large building. It provided 4 stories for parking. The suspect's car was on the basement level. We were able to keep watch on it from a small office near the exit ramp. The attendants were instructed to act as if nothing was wrong when the suspects came in. Once we knew that they were in the building, the entrances and exits would be blocked and they would be taken into custody. There was nothing to do but wait. 5:30 a.m., no sign of Colton and Fitzgerald. 6:15 a.m., Frank went out and brought back some hot coffee. 6:45, 7 a.m. People began to come into the garage to get their cars, but not the 2 suspects. The later it became, the more difficult it would be for us to take the 2 men into custody. If there was going to be any shooting, we'd be in a bad position with civilians in the range of fire. 7:30, 8, 8:04 a.m. Somebody coming down there.
Yeah. You see who it is?
No. Jules.
Yep.
You and Charlie want to cover the other side?
Right.
And watch it. We should be able to get a pretty good look at him.
Yeah.
A lot of these deals, you park the car and it's towed off the street. What kind of town is this? They got a sign. You should have put it in the garage. Yeah, you and your smart ideas. You read. Why didn't you see the sign? Who can tell you?
It's Colton and Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
You see Jules and Charlie?
Wait a minute. Yeah, over by the gray Merc. Looks like they're all set.
All right, let's go.
Let's get this crate out of here. Nice and Brent has the rope without. The cops took their thing. They should have been more than you. Gilman said it was the right thing to do. But you don't have to think. If I wanted somebody for that, you'd still be back east. You know one of these days you're going to open that mouth just a little too wide. Now, what do you guys want?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
Runner! Hit him off, Joe! The ramp, Joe. I'll get him.
Colton, this isn't the way out.
You follow your own laptop.
The doors are blocked, Colton. You're in here for good.
You're wearing the wrong kind of glasses. I'll get out.
Now, look, we got you for robbery. Don't make it any more.
Joe?
Yeah. He's over in the corner. How about Fitzgerald?
Sutton and Zimmerman got him. 2 of their guns in their lap. On no part of trouble.
Colton doesn't figure it that way.
I'll try to get around him.
All right, watch yourself. Keep those people back out of the doorway. Go on, Frank. I'll cover you. There's 3 more, Colton. You aren't going to get by all of us. Your partner quit. Why not be smart like him?
He's not smart. He's scared.
All right, Colton. I'm coming to you.
You two, you'll be dead when you get here.
Throw down that gun. Colton. Colton. You see him, Joe? No. Take it easy, Joe. Colton. How about it? He's hit. I can't tell how bad. He's still got the gun. Colton! You can hear me? Throw that gun out here. Nothing. Come on. Better call an ambulance.
Right.
Never should have taken us.
Better take it easy, Colton. You're hit where it shows.
Never should have taken us. 2 of you, 2 of us.
You got it wrong, mister.
Huh?
You were outnumbered going in.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On September 18th, trial was held in Department 92, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. The Chesterfield Christmas carton is the most talked-about gift of the year. It features the covered bridge, which, of course, inspired the Kissing Bridge song, now a highlight of the Radio City Music Hall Christmas show. The carton itself is featured in most of the 1,300,000 retail tobacco stores coast to coast. This Christmas, do what I'm going to do. Give America's most popular 2-way cigarette. Regular and king-size Chesterfield. Best to give, best to get for Christmas.
Harvey Ned Fitzgerald and Louis Jeffrey Colton were tried and convicted of kidnapping, robbery in the first degree, and violation of the Dangerous Weapons Control Act. They were found guilty and sentenced as prescribed by law. Kidnapping is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 1 to 25 years in the state penitentiary. Robbery in the first degree by imprisonment for a term of not less than 5 years. Violation of the Dangerous Weapons Control Act by imprisonment in the state prison for a period of not less than 5 years. Henry Vincent Peterson was remanded to the authorities of New Jersey for completion of his sentence. A hold was placed on him by the state of California in the event he is paroled.
Be sure to read the current issue of Photography Workshop for an interesting and informative look behind the scenes with Dragnet. That's Photography Workshop, the current issue.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Herb Ellis, Vic Perrin. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Buy new Fatima, the smooth smoke with Fatima tips of perfect cork, king size for longer filtering, and Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. This Christmas, give Fatima in the special Christmas carton. Cork tip and plain ends, too.
Hear Merrill Muller and the news next on the NBC Radio Network.
The story you are about to hear is true.
Dragnet is brought to you by Chesterfield, made by Liggett & Myers, first major tobacco company to give you a complete line of quality cigarettes.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary division. You get a call that an important piece of religious art has been stolen from the oldest church in Los Angeles. There's no lead to its whereabouts. Your job? Find it. To sell a product, you have to make it good and keep it good. What do the latest reports show about Chesterfield? Well, our research laboratory has compared it with the leading cigarettes in the country. Chesterfield is highest in quality, low in nicotine. Another good reason why thousands of people are changing to Chesterfield every day. Smoke America's most popular two-way cigarette. Regular or king size, you'll find Chesterfield really mild, really satisfying. Best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, December 24th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. I'd gone across the street to buy stamps for some Christmas cards I was sending out. It was 9:15 a.m. when I got back to room 45. Burglary. I sat down at a table in the squad room and I started to address the cards when Frank walked in carrying a stack of Christmas boxes.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Christmas cards, huh? A little late, aren't you?
Well, I was going to send them out Monday, but we had that stakeout.
You ought to get married, Joe.
Yeah?
It's the only system. Faye does all that stuff for me. Laundry, mails, cards. Only system.
Might help.
You got a big stack there.
I'd have cut down the list. Look at this here. Upholstery shop.
Yeah?
They send me a card every year. I never get anything upholstered.
Faye and I ought to go over our list. Cut off a few names. I brought in your present. Want to open it now?
No, I'll wait.
I always open a couple the day before.
Why?
Well, put you in the spirit ahead of time. I opened Phil's this morning.
Who's he?
Faye's brother in Denver. Gave me a magazine, one of those funny ones.
What do you mean, a comic book?
No, one of those funny ones, you know.
No, I don't, Frank.
Well, some of the pages have holes in them. You look through and there's a picture on the next page.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those on the newsstand.
They have cloth pasted in.
Cloth?
In the ads. If you want to buy a suit, they have a sample right there.
You mean you can feel it?
Reach right out and feel it. There was one for $200.
A suit?
Sure. Cloth comes from Scotland.
What's it made out of? Solid gold?
No, they got a special kind of goat over there. It's real smooth.
Not a goat, Frank. A sheep.
Well, it's a special kind of sheep, then, because a suit costs $200.
You going to get one?
I told Faye. She said, wear the sample. Anything doing?
Fanning and Pryor were in on that market holdup.
They come up with anything?
Pound of air. Nothing else.
I hope it stays quiet. I got more shopping to do.
I finished.
What'd you get, Ann?
Stationery set. Some paper and envelopes. Leather binding.
Joe, you'll never learn.
Well, what's the matter?
No woman wants a stationery set. Get her something personal.
Well, it's got her initials on it.
No. You want something more sentimental, romantic.
What'd you get Faye?
It's different in her case.
What'd you get Faye?
Sewing machine.
That's romantic.
Well, it isn't a way.
Why didn't you buy her a catcher's mitt? Burglary Friday. Yes, that's right. You have the right department. All right, Father, we'll be right down. No, you can tell us about it there. Goodbye. The old mission church, they've had a theft.
Collection money?
Statue of the child Jesus. Frank and I checked out of the office and rode over to the church at the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Main. The Old Mission Plaza Church, founded 1781, the year Los Angeles became a pueblo. The outside was typical early Spanish design, complete with mission arches. It was made of adobe and painted white. They called it the Queen of the Angels. The Padres from down in Mexico built it. The devout Mexicans in town still attended services there. 10:05 a.m. Frank and I crossed through the courtyard. It used to be the old stable, but the Spanish priest changed all that when it became a mission. Stonemasons paved the stable floor and made it a courtyard. They planted grapevines, trees, and flowers. A young priest crossed the courtyard to meet us. He'd been sitting on a stone bench reading his morning prayers, as priests had done here for 172 years. We asked for Father Xavier Rojas, who'd communicated with us. We were told he was inside. We entered a side door. The church seemed to glow with the hundreds of votive candles flickering on both sides of the altar and at the shrines throughout the church. It was empty except for a few people praying. Surrounding the main altar were several old oil paintings in gold frames. The air was heavy with the scent of Advent flowers. We found Father Rojas up near the sanctuary, looking at the nativity scene. He told us about the crib. It was a $70 duplication of the scene at Bethlehem. The parishioners had taken up a collection for it 31 years ago. It was put up every year on December 22nd and taken down after the holy season. It was beautiful, except that one of the shepherds had lost an arm, the sheep was old and cracked, and the infant Jesus was missing. Father Rojas led us back into the sacristy.
I'm sorry to bother you, man.
It's all right, Father.
Especially now, the holiday season.
We cash our checks, Father. You want to tell us what happened?
Or what you think happened?
I discovered the statue was missing right after the 6 o'clock Mass.
You say the 6?
Yes. I started over to the rectory and stopped by the crib.
Was the statue there before Mass?
I don't know, but it was there last night.
How late is the church open?
All night.
You leave it wide open so any thief can walk in?
Particularly thieves, Sergeant.
You say it was there last night, Father? How late?
10 or 11 o'clock, we had confessions.
No one saw it after that?
One of the altar boys, he says it may have been there. He thinks it was.
Did he see it?
He's not sure.
What's his name?
Pardon me. Here's the schedule. You'll find the names for every mass there.
Was there a big crowd at the 6 o'clock Mass, Father?
Not too many. 7's the big one. People on their way to work.
Did anyone stay after Mass, did you notice?
Not especially. I came back here, took off the vestments. I suppose it was 10 or 15 minutes before I went back in the church.
It was empty then?
No, people were coming in for the 7 o'clock.
Are these the older boys, James Cornine and Joseph Heffernan?
That's right. Joe's the one who mentioned it might have been there.
Did you check with the other priests, Father?
Before I called you. None of them knows anything about it.
Just for a check on the pawn shops, how much is the statue worth?
In money?
Well, that's the point in pawn shops, Father.
Only a few dollars. We could get a new one, but it wouldn't be the same. We've had children in the parish. They've grown up and married. It's the only Jesus they know.
We understand.
And we've had children who died. It was the only Jesus they knew. So many of the people who come here are simple people. They wouldn't understand, Sergeant. It would be like changing the evening star.
We'll do our best, Father.
That's why it would mean so much to have it back for the first Mass on Christmas.
It's not very long, Father.
Less than 24 hours.
If anything turns up here, you know where to get in touch with us.
Yes. It's sad, isn't it?
How's that?
In so short a time, men learn to steal.
Yes, but consider us, Father.
Us?
If some of them didn't, you and I'd be out of work. 10:50 a.m. We notified pawn shop detail. Frank and I checked out the 2 altar boys. The first one, James Cornine, said he knew nothing about the missing statue. The second one, Joseph Heffernan, was not at home. His father said he had a part-time job, but he'd have him get in touch with us right after lunch. By 11:30 a.m., we'd run out of book procedure. We had a man to find. Our only clue, he'd been to church. 11:33 a.m. We checked the phone books for the names of religious stores in the area. 2 of them were closed. We tried the third. When we got there, the only person in the store was an elderly man sitting by a table. In front of him was a large, beautifully carved chess set. We're police officers. My name's Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Great to see you. Caught me in the middle of a big chess match.
Where's your partner?
Up in San Jose. We've been playing for years.
Same match?
No, just 2 or 3 months on this one. What I meant was we've been playing different matches for years.
I see.
You know, we do it through the mail. I send him a move, he sends me one.
Must keep you on your toes.
Except during the holidays, the mail gets all fiddled up. That's no good.
Guess not.
Slows things down. That's no good. I like to catch him off guard.
You Mr. Flavin?
How do you know? We never met.
Your name's on the window out front.
Mr. Flavin, we checked the other 2 religious stores in this neighborhood. They're closed.
This is the best one anyway. 50% European items.
We're checking the stores around the Mission Church.
For what?
Statue of the Child Jesus. Do you have one we could look at?
Sure.
No, sir, a larger one.
You don't want a larger one, unless it's for a church. That's where you want a larger one.
Could we see it, please?
It's not my due to butt in. But unless you live in a big place, this will make your living room all the kilter.
Yes, sir. Do most of the people who go to the Mission Church trade here?
Good many of them, especially the kids.
Why kids?
More religious. Check on yourself. See if kids aren't more religious than you.
Might be so.
That's what's wrong with the world. Oh, I don't mean you're wrong with it. Everybody.
Yes, sir. Wonder if we could stick to the point, Mr. Flavin.
Sure. A lot of people from the Mission Church come in here.
Do people ever come in and sell back a religious article?
Like a prayer book or rosaries?
Yes, sir.
Second hand, you mean?
Yes, sir.
Not since I've ever been around. It's silly.
Why?
People don't have religious articles so they can get rid of them. They have them so they can have them.
But if a man had a statue and wanted to sell it, he'd come to a place like this.
Sure, but he wouldn't want to sell it.
He would if it was stolen.
No, sir. If a man was to steal a statue, he'd be crazy or something like that. The only place he'd want to go is where crazy people are.
You may be right, Mr. Flavin.
I don't know what you fellas are looking for, but if it's somebody who stole a statue, he's crazy and you won't find him. You won't find him as long as you live, or in 1,000,000 years.
That should cover it. We checked religious stores out as far as Van Ness. We asked the same questions. The owners gave us the same answers, but none of them were as encouraging as Mr. Flavin. Frank and I had lunch and reported back to the office. It was 1:30 p.m. when we started into the squad room. The captain was just coming out.
I just checked for you in the lunchroom.
And we've been down on that theft at the mission. May get some action on the Patterson case. They locate him?
I think he's on the bus from Sacramento.
Well, that means the Bakersfield police.
We'll wait and see.
One of you fellas Sergeant Friday?
He is.
I'm Drew Heffernan. My father said you wanted to see me.
Well, sit down, son. You didn't have to come in. A phone call would have worked.
My father said to get on over. He says that any kid that uses phones is lazy.
We want to ask you about this morning. You serve 6 o'clock Mass?
Yes, sir. I'm senior boy, so I get the 6th.
You're a senior and you take the early trick?
Yes, sir. That way, if you receive communion, you get to have breakfast sooner.
Father Rojas says you think the statue was there before Mass.
I didn't look, but I have a feeling it was there.
A feeling?
You know, how you have a feeling about something, but you're not sure.
Did you stay around long after Mass?
I put out the candles and hung up my surplice.
How long would that take?
About 5 minutes, maybe.
Did any of the people at Mass stay on?
Some always do, especially ladies.
Oh?
Maybe they don't finish in time, or else they start new prayers. I don't know.
So when you left, there were still some women there?
No, sir. That was at first. After I went back to the sacristy, there was only this one man.
What man?
He comes at 6 o'clock all the time.
Do you know his name?
No, sir. But he works down in Olive, paint shop, where they paint signs.
Could you describe him?
Sort of medium. He was wearing a suit that didn't match.
Didn't match?
Different pants than coat.
How about his age?
Oh, he's pretty old.
Take a guess.
About 40, maybe. There's nothing particular about him.
Then why'd you notice him?
I've seen him before. And the bundle, I guess.
The bundle?
Out in front. I saw him when he was coming out. He had this bundle, and he almost dropped it.
How large a bundle?
It's hard to say.
Come on, son. Was it large or small? The size of the statue?
Not that big. Yes, sir.
We located the sign shop. The suspect didn't work there anymore, but we discovered his name was Claude Stroop. We found out where he lived. 2:25 p.m. We arrived there. It was a hotel for men, mostly old men, mostly down and outers. It was called the Golden Dream. Police officers. We're looking for Claude Stroop.
Hope Claude didn't get in any trouble.
So do we. Is he in?
No. He's got room 307. You can check if you like.
We'll take your word. Were you on this morning?
Huh?
Yeah, the early shift.
Well, we don't have shifts. My uncle owns the place. I'm the shift.
Did Stroop spend last night here?
Came in about 11.
When did he leave this morning?
Around 6, maybe before.
Did he come back after?
8 o'clock or so. Then left. Supposed to be back at 10. And pulls this trick.
What trick?
Our program. He knows the other fellas need him.
Program?
Here at the hotel. Every Christmas we have a program. Put up a tree and sing. They're mostly old fellas. Singing like that makes them remember back when they were kids. Then Jimmy Finn comes on.
Jimmy Finn?
He shares number 409. His family once had a lot of money, so he tells the fellas about it. Stories about Christmas. How they had this big log, and his grandfather used to start it up. And after dinner, everybody turned over his plate, and there underneath was a $20 gold piece. Brand new one.
When Stroop came in this morning, did he have a bundle?
I didn't see him come in.
You said you saw him.
I saw him go out after, but not come in.
When was that?
8. If you want to look for a bundle, I could give you his key.
We don't have a warrant.
It's all right. I know about police. It's all right with me.
It's not with us.
I didn't mean that. I just meant it was all right with me.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen.
They were 3 old men. You couldn't tell how much better they would have been with Stroop singing the 4th part, but somehow you didn't care. This was Christmas at the Golden Dream, and it sounded fine.
Though the frost was cruel, when the poor man came in sight, gathering winter fuel.
This is the last rehearsal. They got most of the songs down pat.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's why it's a shame Claude isn't here. He's tenor, and they need him to make it sound just right.
Does Stroop have a job?
No, sir. He used to have jobs. Not much lately, though.
Did he say where he was going?
No, he should have. The fellows need him.
When he comes in, will you call us?
Sure, and not say anything to him.
That's right.
I hope it's nothing serious for Claude. The fellow's troubles ought to be over.
Troubles?
Way back. It wouldn't count now.
Tell us anyway.
Well, I don't know much about it.
As much as you know. Now, come on.
Well, something back where he used to live. He robbed somebody or something.
What else?
That's all. It was a long time ago, way far back. But he forgot it all, the robbing and everything.
No, not quite. He remembered it this morning.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay, for Jesus Christ our Savior was born upon this day to
We went back to the office and ran Stroop's name through R&I. If he'd been booked anywhere, we had no record of it, at least not under that name. 4:15 p.m. Pawn shop detail reported back. No object resembling the statue of the child Jesus had been turned in. 4:18 p.m. I hung up the phone.
Patterson's on that Sacramento bus. I thought Bakersfield had it. They were supposed to confirm. They did. Upward station.
What about Fanning and Pryor?
They're still out.
Well, they'll be back soon. When's the bus arrive?
6 o'clock.
There's plenty of time for them to make it.
There's more time for you.
We're still in that theft.
Can it wait?
No.
What is it, $10, $15 statue?
When's the price determine a case?
I realize it's a church statue, but that doesn't give it priority.
It's important to them, Captain. Joe and I promised to get it back.
What do you got on it?
Nothing much.
And why are you so big-hearted?
Burglary Friday. When? No. Don't say anything. No. Right. It's Claude Stroop. He just walked into the hotel. He's our suspect.
Nobody's leaked to him?
No.
You'll keep. You can run him down tomorrow.
It'll be too late then.
They need it for the first mass in the morning, Skipper. It's kind of a big thing for them.
I'm sorry. I can't juggle details around so you can get a statue back. If there's time later on, we'll do our best.
Yes, sir.
You better get over to the station.
Yes, sir. Will you call Father Rojas over at the mission?
Why?
Tell him we're too busy to work on that statue.
But we'll do it later. Tomorrow or when we get a chance.
Why can't you call him?
Well, we better get over to the station.
If Patterson's on that bus, we don't want to miss him.
All right, I'll call him.
Friday.
Yeah.
I can send Fanning and Pryor over. You might as well stay on that other thing.
Whatever you say, Captain.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
There are good reasons why thousands of people are changing to Chesterfield every day. Why Chesterfield is the largest selling two-way cigarette in America. Why Chesterfield is best for me and best for you. People these days want facts. When you want people to use your product, you have to tell them what effect it has on people who do use it regularly. That's why a doctor has examined for almost 2 years a large group of Chesterfield smokers. 45% of them have, on the average, been smoking Chesterfields for well over 10 years. What is the effect on these people from smoking Chesterfield? No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses, says the doctor. Consider Chesterfield's record with these smokers, with millions of other smokers throughout America. Another good reason for you to change to Chesterfield. Regular or king size, Chesterfield is best for me, best for you.
4:43 p.m. We arrived at the Golden Dream Hotel. The desk clerk was right. Claude Stroop looked like a man who'd had his troubles at bargain rates. Your name, Claude Stroop?
Yes, sir.
Police officers. We'd like to talk to you.
I didn't do anything against the law. Honest, I didn't do anything against it.
You haven't been accused.
Want to take you downtown.
We'd like to talk to you.
No, sir, I'm not going. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to talk to anybody.
You're half wrong already. .15 p.m. We returned Stroop for interrogation. He kept his word. He refused to talk. 6:05 p.m. Frank called Fay, told her he'd be a little late. Stroop didn't move for a whole hour. He sat and stared, but he didn't talk. 6:40 p.m. We got a final report from pawn shop detail. The shops were closed. There was no statue. Stroop still hadn't talked.
Don't you ever want to go home, Stroop?
If I was to talk, he wouldn't let me go.
Depends on what you'd say.
I'd say it wrong, and I wouldn't get home.
You won't this way either.
I'd like to go. You can bet on that. This is the 7th year we had the program, and I never missed a one. Not a single one.
Why don't you tell us what happened, Stroop?
How would I know you'd let me go?
You wouldn't.
I might as well anyway.
All right, what happened from Mass on?
Well, there was Mass. I came out and started down toward the hotel.
Back up.
I left my stuff at the hotel, and then I picked up George's car. I didn't steal it. He said I could have it any time I wanted. Only this time I didn't ask him. I took it and started out.
Now,
I should have asked, but I just didn't. I went over to Grand Avenue for the Christmas bulbs for this fellow sells them secondhand. It was coming out of the lot that I did it.
Yeah.
The bumper must have caught the other car. Didn't leave too big a dent, but there was this long scratch. I got out and tried to wipe it off with my handkerchief. You know, spit on it like. Only it didn't do no good. I didn't think anybody saw. I don't know how you fellows found out about it.
I'll check auto records. Right. Stroop, we didn't bring you down here to talk about that.
You didn't?
No. There's a statue missing from the church. The statue of the child Jesus.
You mean I took it?
You took a bundle out of church?
Yes, sir. That was my other pants for the program tonight. I had a place sewed up and there was a button on it. You can check. But I wouldn't take a statue.
I don't think you would either. He's clear at auto records. Go on home.
For the program? You mean it's all right?
Good night, Stroop.
Good night.
Merry Christmas.
Where to? Well, I don't know. We could stay and work on it tonight.
Wouldn't do any good. We won't find it.
I don't think so.
No use kidding the priest. Build his hopes up.
Might as well go tell him now. Merry Christmas. "7:27 p.m. We found Father Rojas. Frank told him how it was, that we couldn't get the statue back by morning, but that we'd keep trying during the week. He said he understood. We told him we had to get on. As Frank and I started to leave, the doors at the main entrance to the church opened. It was a good 200 feet away. It was hard to be sure, but it looked like a small boy drawing a bright red wagon behind him. When he got closer, you could see he was no bigger than a pint of milk. He was a luminous-eyed little Mexican boy with a face as young as yesterday. The priest seemed to know him.
Paquito?
In the back of the wagon was the missing statue of the child Jesus. He picked it up gently and walked up to the priest.
Padre Rojas?
He just stood there, looking up at Father Rojas.
It's Paco Mendoza, the boy from the parish.
Ask him where he found it.
¿Dónde lo encontraste?
No lo encontré, lo cogí esta mañana.
He didn't find it, he took it.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Todos los años Paquito rezó por un camioncito rojo. Este año Paquito rezó al niño Jesús. Yo prometí al niño Jesús el primer viaje en mi camioncito.
He says all through the years he's prayed for a red wagon. This year he prayed to the child Jesus. He promised that if he got the wagon, the child Jesus would have the first ride in it.
¿Vendrá el diablo para llevar a Paquito?
He wants to know if the devil will come and take him to hell.
That's your department, Father.
No el diablo. Jesus ama a Paquito mucho.
We crossed over to the sanctuary. With the help of Father Rojas, the young boy replaced the infant Jesus in its rightful place, the crib in the nativity scene. Frank and I could have been wrong, but the small plaster statue seemed to approve. Mary, Joseph, the wise men, Gaspar, Melchior, Balthazar, the old shepherd, the young shepherd, the peasant, they all seemed to approve.
Vuelve a tu casa, Paquito.
The priest told the boy to go home. He took hold of his wagon and started the long walk out of the church. There wasn't much we could say. There wasn't much to say. We just stood there and watched him go. Halfway up, he turned to look back. And he went on out.
I don't understand how we got that wagon today. Don't kids wait for Santa Claus anymore?
It isn't from Santa Claus. The firemen fix old toys and give them to new children. Paquito's family, they're poor.
Are they, Father?
The story you have just heard is true. The names and locations were changed. Ladies and gentlemen, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, remember your cigarette dealer will be open right up to Christmas Eve, and he can take care of your last-minute shopping problems with Chesterfield's. Chesterfield's and the special Christmas carton featuring the covered bridge. And now, on behalf of the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers Tobacco Company, there are over 6,000 wholesale distributors and 1,300,000 retail dealers, and, of course, all of us on Dragnet. We'd like to wish you a very Merry Christmas.